Okay, I think we're live, are we? It says we're live. Are we actually live? There we go. All right, we got some echo we got to deal with. Mute. Oh, interesting. Why is the system sound? Okay, so we're live. I got an echo. I just got to deal with this one echo problem. Just bear with me for a second here. Sound effects, mute. Where's the system sound? Huh, okay. Turn this down. All right, we're going to mute that. And one more thing. Okay, so what are we building today, guys? Welcome. Welcome. So we're going to be building a family reunion app today. But before I get into the details, let me do a couple things. So one, let me just switch my main camera here. So main camera, side by side, full screen. No, I want to change. 1 second, I got to change my camera source. No, wrong one. This guy. Gotta change it to secondary display. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so welcome. Thanks for joining. And we're gonna get started in a second here. Probably got one or two more sort of little housekeeping things. I just need to just make sure that my audio is up to par. So, oh, did I? Oh my goodness, really? Sorry, totally messed up my screen. Give me a second here, guys. Overlays, side by side, main camera, side by side. Oh, I totally messed it up. Okay, gotta do that again. Edit, tertiary display, no, secondary display. There we go. Sorry, just totally messed up my screen there. And you know what I was gonna do? I was gonna actually change the layout of this. So why not? Can we bring this to the front? Yes. Just for the sake of switching it up a little bit. So I'm going to put me smaller on the side. Bring this a little bit bigger. And I don't know if I could change the shape of this, but maybe we'll try. Let's see, circle, square, tall. Yeah, let's do tall. Oh, that's kind of weird. And then maybe a little bit wider. Is that good? Yeah, okay, we can do that. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, welcome, and I don't know if this is better. We'll find out. I feel a little squished. I feel a little squished. But anyway, so we got a lot of things to talk about today. Actually, let me do one more thing. I got to just drop my resolution here. Drop my resolution for the screen. Extension. Drop it to 69 so you guys could see a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, I kind of feel a little squashed in this little 16:9 window. How about square, circle, square, classic 4:3? What's a classic? That's a classic. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. A little bit more space to breathe. Okay, we'll go with this. I'm trying something new. I'm trying to do a slightly different shape. Or can I just do custom? Can I not do custom? Yeah, I can do custom. And then how would you, there we go. Yeah. Then it's to my liking, right? Yeah, there we go. A little bit more than a square, a little bit less than a thing. Still got enough to put people's comments down at the bottom, so we can still see the comments. Yeah, I think we're good. Sorry, I'm experimenting with a brand new framework layout today. So, okay, what are we gonna do today, guys? First of all, welcome. Hang on one second. Get something in my lip. Okay, yes. So welcome. I am excited about today's live stream, because I have a few things that I want to do. And I'm going to be building a real app for my own pain point. In fact, this came about because my family is doing a family reunion in next year, one of my families. And so we decided that somehow I've been tasked with helping to orchestrate and keep things on track. And I was like, you know what, this is the perfect application to build a family reunion application, not necessarily for family reunion, but also to kind of help keep all of the family dynamics organized. And it just so happened that it's perfect timing because it's Christmas, or at least it's going to be Christmas soon, or holidays, or if you want to be politically correct. And you guys family's going to be coming together. So I figured, why not just build something that could help us to keep the family fights at a minimum. Okay, so with that, we're going to jump right into it. And today I want to go really fast because honestly, in the past, I've been taking too much time with design and stuff like that. Today I want to go fast. So I'm actually going to use the tools that I don't normally use, which is Lovable and Bold. But before we get there, I want to highlight a couple things. So today I had a really, really good call, and I'm actually really excited and proud of this. So a couple things I want to highlight about the school community right off the top. Number one is we are up to 56 members in the school community, guys. 56 members. So give yourself a round of applause. Some people, you guys are watching, some guys are not watching. Whoever, like, whenever you watch this will be a milestone for me, at least, because I remember when the group started and I was like, guys, we have 13 members in the group. We're now at almost 60. Like, we're 40 less than 100. And based on how things are going, by mid-January, we'll probably hit 100 based on the trajectory. In fact, let me just share this. So these are like in stats that I'm happy to share because it doesn't really matter. We got 56 members. We got a 26% conversion rate in terms of people going to the school community landing page. Where is it? SKO there. People coming here, clicking on this video, watching it, and then saying, yes, I'm interested, and join the community. That's a 26% conversion rate for a free community. That is fantastic. All it tells me is that we just need to spread the word about this community and more people will join. So that is amazing. Look at the trajectory of sort of like school members. Now, to be fair, I've also been doing a bunch of stuff on TikTok as well too. And a lot of this growth came from the fact we had 25 new members came in just in the month of December halfway. And that's double what we've done in November, which was not necessarily double what we did in December, but in October we had 20. So here we're at 25. So that's a pretty cool accomplishment for me personally. It also goes to show for people that are building stuff, if you're building things, you're always testing. You're trying to figure out where your audience is, where you can find people that are interested in your product. So this, while I'm building a school community, the principles that I'm using here is also relevant for people that are actually building real SaaS applications. So I just want to be clear with that. Like, I'm experimenting with different mediums, different channels, different ideas, different things. That's important because it's the same mental model that you need in order to build an actual real business. And eventually I want to start testing what happens when I start charging people for this. But right now I want to just bring as many people as I can in the group thing. So that's one. So I'm pretty pumped about that. That's pretty cool. Second thing is, I had a fascinating call with two members this week. So I want to highlight these because they mean a lot to me. Number one is, well, not a call this week here. Number one is Ramon. I'm saying that right. Yeah, Ramon. This he posted probably the most complicated requirements, because what he's building in his school community is he's trying to get into this, which is basically electronic invoicing sort of business, which is to help companies do electronic business invoicing for his community, for his country, sorry. And the problem with this is that it was just a very, very high bar to get in. So I spent some time reviewing the details and going through it, and then I came up with my own sort of recommendation, and then I did a video to kind of help him to kind of think about the model of how he needs to sort of think about this problem and break it down, right? Because one of the hardest problems with this type of stuff is that you end up in a situation where, you know, sometimes just how do you frame the thinking to kind of understand how to like do the steps in order to get the results that you're looking for is a challenge. And so that was my mission with this video. So if you're into there and you just want to just understand sort of how my brain thinks about some of these problems, like watch these case studies. Even though they might not be relevant to you, what I'm hoping is that you might be able to get some outcome from it. So please do check that out if you're interested. And I'm going to be posting these actually because I had a meeting. This was today. So today I had a call with another school member, which I was really excited about because here is this guy that, let me see, fast forward. Yeah, here. So he built, and what's crazy about it, this guy has absolutely no UI experience whatsoever. I can't take credit for the work that he's done here because this is amazing work. And he actually introduced me to another guy that's posting some really cool blog posts about Cloudflare specifically. He mentioned it. But anyway, he's building a tracker to track data from applications and using pixel trackers and stuff like that to send data back to Facebook Pixel in order to get proper results. And he mentioned this blog. There's a guy that's there's a blog post that has some really cool thing about it because he was able to use that as a framework. So I plan to chop this video up a little bit, and then I plan to post it in the school community as a post so people can learn from it, because I think there's some real valuable stuff that he did inside of there. And it was just him showing his overall experience on how he built the platform, etc. And then next thing is I had another call with another school member that also, let me see. Oh, wait, hang on. I forgot to show you what's his name. So his guy was, I forgot to mention this, but I just want to mention this very quickly. This guy here, which is cool, he's from Brazil. So where is he? How come I can't see? Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, so he's from Brazil, which is pretty cool. So this is him here. I don't know why he's not showing up in the actual thing, but anyway, so he's from Brazil. Just got into the school, just like now learning how to code. Young guy, 23 years of age, and is just now trying to get his feet wet in the world of development, and had some really cool tips for me about about development in general, like what some of the things that I should do. I should use better auth and some of the tools. So anyway, just want to highlight that. So that's one. And then next guy is, so that was what was his name? Gabriel. Yes. And then this was Kevin. So Kevin, on the other hand, had a really interesting product. Now he's in Canada, which is where I'm from, and he is into the insurance side of things. So he's working on an insurance platform, etc. Built a platform, got some ideas on how to sell it, but not necessarily, sorry, got some ideas on how it should work, but don't have an idea on how to sell it. So we had a really good, interesting conversation to kind of work through the details, just talking about like how to actually sell the product, and we're going to be doing some follow-ups and whatever. Anyway, both of those I'm going to be posted inside of the school community because I want other people to kind of learn from just the conversation and how I'm thinking about the problems. And I think that's a sort of good reference point. And then hopefully, Sammy just messaged me today and he mentioned that he's going to jump on a call with me So we'll have a call with him, and he's going to kind of talk through sort of what he actually built and how it's actually working. So anyway, my point is we're starting to see members come forward and actually share sort of like what they're working on and talk about things or whatever. The truth is, I'd like more. We have quite a few members inside of here, and not many people right now are actually coming forward in the group and chatting and publicly thing. I know they're going through some of them are going through the tutorial, some of them are going through the classroom, some of them are looking at the tutorials. I know that for sure because I'm seeing the progress for each individual, but not as many posts as yet. But nonetheless, it's starting to happen. So I'm excited about that. And yeah. So one more thing here. Give me 1 second here, guys. Figure while I'm here, I'm gonna double bank. I'm gonna try this again because I have what do you call it? Oh, can I do it now? Wonder if I could do that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to do something a little bit different while I'm jumping on this call here. So with that, we're gonna jump into the actual thing that we're trying to build here, which is I came across this website, which looks like a pretty good website that has all the pieces of the stuff that I'm trying to build all together, which is this framework. And hang on, let me just see if I can't see the chat. Audio is good. Oh, hey, thank you for telling me that. I've just realized I don't have the chat up. Hang on a second here. Let me get the chat up. Chat. The chat window. There we go. Thanks. Is it Kavar? Karvar? Kavor. Oh my goodness, I am so terrible. But thank you though. Thank you for telling me that the audio is good. Thank you. Yeah. So I appreciate that because I had no idea. I was just kind of working blind. I just assumed that it was working. So that's good. I appreciate that. So okay, great. So like I said, we're going to be building a. So this website here looks like the type of website that I want to build. So let's just talk about the problem. And while I'm here, I'm going to do two things. We're going to go a little bit fast this week here because I want to focus on the build a little bit, but I also want to talk about how to think about the problem because we have people in our community, and you know what? These two conversations, both of these conversations, I want to just highlight them again. Both Kevin and Gabriel. Gabriel's a little bit different because he built out the product already. Kevin also built the product. However, in Gabriel's case, he honestly was just building this for his brother. He wasn't actually even thinking about the monetization of this product. But me being a business person, that's the first thing I come to. I was like, well, listen, buddy, you made a product. It's a good product. In fact, I want to be a beta tester of it. We need to figure out how you can monetize it. So that's number one. And then Kevin's side, Kevin is a little bit more established from an insurance broker standpoint. He's kind of know the game and he's solving some problems that he has personally with this. And his challenge, like I said, is trying to figure out how to actually sort of do the sales side of things. So I'm going to keep harping on this every single week because it's super, super important, which is this sort of like how to think about these frameworks. And, you know, it's not everybody watches all my videos, which is fine. So I will always do some kind of recap to kind of like and make sure that people kind of think about the model correctly. Let me just make sure I got the right. Yeah, okay, we'll just go with this one here. We'll just go with yeah, so we'll just go, click to it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we'll just go with this. So you have to think about every week I might do it slightly different, but the goal is that we just do at least a little bit of recap to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So if you were to think of the timeline of your product, selling your product, okay? On this end here, it's money in the bank. And by money, we're going to say I'm just going to keep it simple for basic thing. We're not going to go fancy here. We're going to say your first 10 customers. Okay? Because that's the goal. The goal is to get your first 10 customers. Let's just write that properly. 10 sales. Right? 10 sales. That's your goal, the number one goal. And obviously we're starting out and we're starting from basically zero, right? Which is a blank slate. Like we got nothing, and we're starting from here. START. Okay. The first thing you need to do always, right? Is the very, very first thing you need to do in this timeline, really, here, is once you have an ID, okay, you need the second thing that you need to do. So you might have an ID. Now, generally speaking, most people kind of have already a solid ID, but maybe you don't. So maybe you pick 3 of them. Okay, let's see, pick 3 IDs, okay? Because you're not certain which one's going to work, which one is not going to work, etc. So pick one. By the way, for the people that are in here, if you could just give me a thumbs up, that would be great, because then we could maybe spread the word, and maybe YouTube might actually push out the algorithm a little bit more, right? So you pick an ID, that would be fantastic. Okay. Number 2 is, hey Gabrielle, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. I just highlighted you on on my thing. I literally was just talking about your name just 2 minutes ago on this, not this call here, this call here. So nice to see you in here. So yes, so your number 1 thing is you pick 3 IDs, okay? The second thing that you need to do is you need to validate this idea. This is a step that most developers, especially technical people, we miss this because we don't think about this stuff, okay? So validate, VALIDATE. And what do I mean by validating your ID? You have to ensure that the thing that you pick, or the thing that you think should be a problem, is the actual thing that you're building. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, and it, like, for example, Kevin, I'm gonna call out Kevin because he was a good example and a recent memory of this. While talking to him, it was very clear that he understood the problem very, very clearly. So he didn't have to. There was no idea picking because he already solved the problem of the idea, right? Like he knew exactly what he wanted to build. But that being said, even though you know the problem that you want to build, right, and you understand some of the pain, right, PAIN, okay, even though you understand yes, I always miss this step. Most of the technical friends in my point. Yes, this is why we're covering it right now. Yes, it's a real thing. So even though you understand the problem and you kind of understand it, it doesn't mean that the market, because this is where the problem comes in today. The real question is like, why are you validating it? Well, if I know the problem, Dwayne, like, why don't I just build what I already know? You don't. Why? Because there's a force that you can't see here at this particular point, right? And this is the market. KET. And what is the market? The market is people on the internet, okay? Online, internet, you could call it, right? Okay. And the problem with this is that if you don't know what the market is asking for, you might just be building the wrong thing. You literally might just build the wrong thing. Like you might spend in here, because you're a developer, this is what developers normally do. They come in here and then they build, right? And then next thing you know, they're like, they're 3-4 months in, right? 3 to 4 months, let's just say months, right? And THS, and they're building, and maybe they're testing with their friends or whatever, and they're fixing bugs and what the deal is, but they don't know if the market will actually buy the product, right? Because they're like, yes, it's a perfect product, like I know how to make it work, and it's like, okay, cool. They get all the technical right, but they have no idea whether the market will actually use the product or not. So you need to validate. Okay, so the question is, how do you validate? You don't spend 3 to 6 months trying to validate. That is what you do not do. I want to be clear with that. Do not, right? Spend, right? 3 to 6 months validating. MTH. Okay? Do not do that, okay? What you need to be doing is spending like a week, 1 week. EEK, right? Maybe 2 weeks. EK, okay? Nothing more than that, okay? What are you trying to do in this particular time frame? The first thing you're going to do, and we're going to go down a little bit more underneath this here so I don't cloud up this page. The first thing you're going to do is very simple, okay? You're going to create a landing page, okay? And because there's a couple of things you're going to do with this landing page. Now, you need to figure out how to like, what is it, the problem that you're thinking. So you need to talk to people. This is something scary. I know it's scary, but you need to talk to people. You got a couple ways of doing it. You go to a forum, F-O-R-U-M-I-E, Reddit, E-D-D-I-T. I think Reddit is by far one of the best forums right now online. Or you find a subcategory website, like a Facebook group or something, or you find like an industry specific website that has a forum on it where people that you think will buy your product are active, and you simply ask them the question, what problems are you experiencing? Problems. Okay, you don't tell them what you're building, just to be clear, because if you tell them what you're building, then you're going to get biased answer. You simply ask them, what is the problem that you guys are experiencing with XYZ? And they're going to come back, oh yeah, this is the problem thing. In our particular case, we're building a family reunion website. So what's the problem? The problem is, every time I message John, he never responds, and then I'm busy, and then he's busy. And then, the planning, we plan something and then the plan falls through, and then we, reschedule for another time. And it's just a mess in terms of the communication, right? Like, you want them to just tell you in their own words, what the problem is. So go to a forum and try to engage as many people as possible. And possibly from that forum, let's say there's about 2 or 3 people that might engage with you. Try to pull them out and physically jump on a call with them. Okay, do that many times as you possibly can. Have a call with them. Okay, and just ask them questions. That's literally just say, hey man, you think I could just jump on a 15-minute call with you? Like, your insight sounds really good. I'd love to pick your brain a little bit more about this problem that you're having. Do you think we could just jump on a call and I could just ask you a couple questions just to understand, sort of the challenges, and give me some background context? That's what you're trying to do. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to literally just cold call. C-O-L-D. Cold call. And I mentioned this on my call with Kevin, but I'm highlighting it here for everybody. This is one of the most scariest things for a developer. If you're a dev, you're like, I don't want to pick up the phone and talk to anybody. Okay, you have to do it. Okay. The pitch should actually solve a real problem. This will get you investors. 100%. That's absolutely correct, right? So you call, and the reason why you're calling, we'll talk about the investor part in a sec. This is a good point that you mentioned. I'm just going to call you Car, okay? I'm going to say K-A-R, Car, because I can't, every single thing else after that, my dyslexia brain kicks in and it's like, I don't know what to do with these letters. So we're going to call you Car. But you're 100% right. That solve real problems. All right, so we got a cold call. We got a dev, right? Like I said, devs, they hate cold call, the idea of cold calling. But that's what we're going to do. Right. Now, when you cold call people, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to ask them, 1 to 5 questions, right, about the problem. P-R-O-B-L-E-M. Good. So now that we get that out of the way, what's your aim? What's your mission? Your mission in this validation state here is to potentially talk to about 5 to 10 people. Okay. Nothing less than that. Okay. You could talk to more, but at least 5 to 10 people. Why? That's a real point question. Why are we doing this? Because of those 5 to 10 people, something is going to happen. You're going to hear a bunch of commonalities, a bunch of common sort of points that's going to come out. Let me just get rid of this here. Okay, you're going to get a common theme. So with your 5 to 10 people, you're going to keep hearing the same points repeated. You're going to hear point 1, P-O-I-N-T. You're going to get about 3 to 5 points, right? To 5 points. That's going to be consistent theme. You're going to keep hearing the same thing over and over. Only when you hear that same consistent theme, that's when you're going to take that out. Okay. And what you're going to do with those points, you're going to basically craft those pain points as your landing page. Okay. Landing. Okay, landing page. Okay, what is the purpose of your landing page? To collect a name and an email. Okay, name, email. Okay, and this landing page is a waiting list. And then you're going to ask me the question, well, how do we get people to go to the landing page? Exactly the same way. You're going to basically, those 5 to 10 people that you talk to, you're going to ask them a very simple question. You're going to say, if I build something to solve this problem, is that something that you might be interested in? Do you mind if I put you on a waiting list so that when I have the product, I can come back to you and share what I've built? That's what you do. Okay, and those people are going to say yes because they're talking to you. They won't mind that, right? And then you're going to go back into the forum, go back into Reddit, and you're going to try to do the exact same thing and see if you could get more people to do exactly the same thing. Okay, one other thing that I want to highlight inside of here, sometimes there's already a tool on the market, some big competitor, right? Not sometimes, there's almost always a tool on the market that exists. Okay, so you're always competing with something already is. So one of the things that you can do is go directly into a Reddit forum or any forum, Facebook forum or whatever, for the tool, right? There's probably already a tool out there. So let's say the tool is, I don't know what kind of tool. Let's say this website here that we're going to be building, this My Event, they had a Reddit forum for it. Okay, you go into that forum and you literally ask, what are the problems? PLEMS. Okay, you literally just ask them, hey guys, like I'm new to this platform and I'm just trying to figure out like what are the problems with this platform. Car is good. It's cool. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you telling me that. So yes, what you want to ask, what are the problems with the platform, and people will just list out all of the issues that they have all together, and you just want to take the 1 or 2 top pain points that are thinking, and you basically use that for your landing page. Okay, so that's what you want to do, and that's going to help you out tremendously with validating your idea. This is what I mean by validating. This step here, do not proceed. The Monopoly game, do not pass go, collect $200, that kind of stuff. Do not proceed until you have done this. I can't stress this enough. It's super, super important. Why? Because you will build something that you cannot market if you don't get this step right. Okay, and from there, you're just going to keep rinsing and repeating to get as many people on this list as possible. Anywhere where you could post about it, talk about it, whatever, you just basically get people to join the waiting list. You're not selling any single thing. You're just getting people to join the waiting list, and that's super important. From there, you're obviously going to continue to build the product. So that's obvious, right? You're going to continue to build the product until you can get an MVP. Okay, and your MVP is just for beta testing, BETA, right? You're not selling as yet. You're going to try to go on that waiting list, depending on how big your waiting list is, right? Maybe you got 5, maybe you got 10 people or whatever. And they're going to basically say, you know what? I think it's also a good idea to use AI to market the analysis. Let me see. I think it's a good idea to use AI to make market analysis research and of the competition. 100%. Yes, you're actually perfectly dead on the money on that car. Using AI to do some market analysis to kind of figure out your competitor is good. The caveat I'll say to that is nothing beats you physically on the ground talking to people and think there's no AI that can replace that. Okay, you pick up the phone and talk to somebody, you're going to get insights, nuances that you will never get from AI. But AI is a good pair analysis, market research analysis person to kind of help you figure out the problem, right? We got one problem with AI right now, which is they always just kind of validate every single thing that you ask them. But to your point, yes, you're 100% right. Always AI. In fact, every single thing that we do here, pair it with AI because, they're taking over our world anyway. But yes, you're properly right about this. So with that, you got our MVP. What's your MVP? Okay. There's this term going around, minimum lovable product. We're not trying to do that right now. We're just trying to get like the least amount of features that we could possibly introduce that could help us to be able to just release something that people can try. And I want to be clear with this: your MVP is going to be buggy. Your MVP is going to have issues. Yes, you're 100% right. Your MVP, there's going to be a lot of problems with your MVP, but that's okay. You just want to get a couple of basic features out the door so that you can get the feedback. Because when you get the feedback, the people will tell you where their priorities are, and you're going to try to build towards that priority, right? And your goal is with the MVP is to get just enough feedback and build enough features, right? Where's my pen? Come on. Yeah. Just enough features, TURES, so that you could do a launch, LAUNCH. Okay. So you could do a basic launch. Okay. And I'm going to fast track the rest because we're not going to go into all the details here. When you do the launch, your real goal is to get to this, 10 users. Okay. You do the launch in the exact same way. You go to the forums, you go to the, you try to pick up the phone and call people, you try to message people, send them one-on-one. This is when you're going to start DMing people. DM. Okay, 101, right? And just to let you guys know, just an idea, just to show you, I'm doing that exact same thing with my school community. The 56 members that are in here right now, okay, what am I doing? Number one is, the part that I didn't talk about is posting content and all that kind of stuff, which is part of it, but I'm not trying to overwhelm you with a lot of stuff. What I've done is, everybody that's liked my, one of my videos on, like, for example, here, but I had a video blow up this week here. It got 20,000 views on it, which is crazy. And just an insane amount of likes. And that's 805 likes. More likes than any of the other videos that I've had on this TikTok channel here. But my point is, every person that engaged with my content, what did I do? I went into the message and I literally just sent them a message. And I'll show you just to be that you guys see what a message will be. So here, I was like, hey, thanks for following. No pitch. I made a free community for builders like yourself, blah, blah, blah. Can you want to check it out? And I'm asking them permission if they're interested to check it out. And if they are, then I basically send them the link and I say, cool, not a problem. And I keep doing that consistently all the time, just to get people sort of jumping into the school community. Some people respond, some people don't. The point is, that's another way that you can kind of get users. If you just keep posting out content, TikTok gives you a good platform for this. Instagram also is a decent platform for this. This is another way to kind of bridge your audience, but all you're doing in that case is you're validating your product. And then you can do the same thing for your MVP side of things. Now I'm going to fast track this a little bit because we're going to jump into code here. I want to move a little bit faster this week. So features, launch, DM people, which is exactly what I just showed you there. And like I said, your goal is basically just to get 10 people on your platform. The real challenge comes with, can you put a price here that people are willing to pay? And the faster you can do that, the better. Because the minute you validate the problem, you want to put a dollar value attached to it, give people a discount, but you want to put a dollar value attached to it to see if people are willing to pay for that particular price point, right? And then from there. Now, to go to Car's point, around the investors, because he does mention the investor part. And again, I'm skipping over a bunch of little details here deliberately because I wanted to just focus on the back half of this. But if you're trying to build a real product and trying to get it in front of investors, investors. If you're trying to get in front of your investors, what your real goal is here, there's a line here, okay? There's two things you need to prove for the investors of today world, right? And I'm talking from the world that I'm coming from. There's all different types of investors, but I'm just specifically talking about one. Number one is you need to prove that people will pay for your product. That's number one. And number two is you need to prove that there's demand. Okay, investors in today's world, they don't just want to promote, like, invest in an idea, because guess what? Ideas are dime a dozen with ChatGPT and AI and Claude and all these different tools. So we're not on the idea stage anymore. We want to know that you have done the work to actually prove that people will, one, pay for your product, and two, that there's a growth demand for your product. And the only way you can do that is to do mini launches, right? Later on, we're going to go into a series. We're going to talk about product hunt. I don't know if you guys know product hunt. Some of you might know. PRODUCTHUNT. And we're going to talk about launching on product hunt. There's a couple things here. I'm still learning this world here, but I'm going to share my experience with you guys about how to try to launch on product hunt. And the one thing I'll say is most people have this fallacy that launching means you do it once and you're done. That's not true. Launch means you launch every single month something, right? You just keep launching over and over again. And I'll show you examples of that. So for example, if I go here to do product hunt, if I go Lovable, I'm almost willing to bet. I've never looked at Lovable, but I'm almost willing to bet that if you look at Lovable, you can go see all of the launches. Where was it? Yeah, here. Lovable launches. There you go. See all of Lovable launches. So here, September 30th, July, April, February, November, right? They keep launching multiple times. So don't get this idea that, oh, I launched once and nobody came to my product. You can keep repeating launches over and over and over again. Launch just means the day when you basically publicize that you have a new feature or a new capability, something that is different or unique about your platform that you want the masses to know. Maybe you could run some ads against it to kind of speed up the process, right? If you have capital, then what you want to do is you want to run some ads roughly in this section here to kind of like aggressively accelerate sort of the growth. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of level set with that because like this is coming fresh off of the conversation that I had this morning with two fantastic individuals that are kind of in this stage here, or at least wanted to get to this stage. And so I figured that this would be a good video to kind of just sort of wrap every single thing up together. Okay, so now we're done with that. We're going to move on to writing some actual code. Let's see if we could do that. And this is probably the fastest I've rambled because I really want to write some code today. In fact, I got to get this done for my own sanity over the holidays. Okay, so let's do this. Let's move out. Great advice. Thank you, Mr. Carr. What's going on with my thing? Okay, hang on a second. I gotta make some settings change here again. I appreciate the feedback, sir. Okay, while I do that, I'm just gonna change my layout of my thing. So arrange this one here. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right, let's do some vibe coding, shall we? Let's go build ourselves a family reunion website here. So, and by the way, if you guys got any other questions about other stuff, just drop it in the chat. I appreciate you, like I said, sticking around, but ask questions. If you got any questions about this idea about launching, finding your idea, validating, we can talk about it. Because once I start getting all this vibe coding stuff going, there's just going to be, dead space where we can kind of talk about other things. So by all means, drop your questions in the chat. Put a like. Hang on, let me just refresh YouTube and see if there's any likes on this video. Please do put a like, thumbs up. I got 1 thumbs up. I see 4 people inside of here. Can I get a couple of thumbs up on the video? This will help YouTube to kind of push it out, do its algorithm thing. Okay, so with that, while you guys are giving me thumbs ups and telling me that I'm awesome, by the way, this is just me just boosting my own self-ego. I appreciate you guys showing up here, and I'm so thankful that I don't have to stand here alone. I did this a couple of likes. Thank you for that like, by the way. I did this a couple of weeks ago. There was nobody showed up for my chat, and it felt so lonely. But guarantee, whether you show up or not, I just want you to know I'm here every Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time, every single week. Okay, we don't care if it's Christmas, we don't care if it's New Year's, we're here, okay, because we're partying and we're building real applications in the open. So with that, let's okay, so I basically, what I did is, just so you guys know what I did so far, this is the only thing I did today, is I literally just copied this entire website, steal an IP, and then I basically just jumped in ChatGPT and told ChatGPT this is what I'm building. Pick one. So what I want to build today. So I'm basically going to do this. So I'm just going to take this, and then we're going to build a MVP. So we're going to just take this and we're going to build it out. Let me just make sure I got all the features that I want to build. So RSVP management, who's coming. Yes, family directory, memorial page, sure, an optional payment and donations, and a customized reunion website. Yes. Okay. So can you help me to create a PRD document for this with all the features, outlining all of the different specifications? We're going to be building this on Cloudflare. Don't focus on any of the backend stuff right now. Just get me the overall PRD as well as a feature list so that we can drop that into our AI tool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Come on, man. You know what? My whisper is not working. Hang on a second, guys. 1 second. Quit whisper. Whisper is not working. Whisper flew. Okay, there we go. Can you get me a PRD document so that we can outline all of the features that needs to be built for the AI so that we can start the process of building the application? And just keep in mind that we also want to make sure that in the family directory that we're able to keep track of not just the individual people, but we also want to keep track of which family they're connected to. So I want some kind of visual way to kind of see who's connected to what family, or if you click on somebody in lists that you can kind of see who they're connected to. If it's in a list format, maybe we could have like some tags of the different families, like the heads of each family. But from a relationship standpoint, we need to be able to keep track of all the relationships. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go in. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to just kind of push on this, kind of get all the pieces in place, get the core, get a PRD. In the meantime, I'm going to go to, so I'm actually going to do this in Lovable because I want this to look good. And frankly, I've been through all the different AI tools and I'm like, you know what? Lovable is actually pretty good. Actually, I'm kind of curious. What are you guys using for design right now? We got 4 people inside of here. What are you guys using for design? Drop your favorite tool in the chat. You know, I've used Google Google. I've used Google. Oh my goodness, Google Stitch. There we go. I do like AI Studio right now. This design tool is pretty good. Build is where you have to go. So I'm going to try this also. We're not going to do the Flash. We're going to go to Gemini Pro. I wish they would, like, it's so annoying that I can't do a Nox.js project. I have to do a React project, but I'm just going to cave and just do a React project. That's fine. Nothing for design. Nothing really. Okay, Gabriel. But actually, you had a really good design on your stuff, Gabriel. So that was pretty impressive. But I know you did mention that it was that guy's website that you think. By the way, what was that website again? Can you drop it in the chat? Actually, I just asked for code. Cloud code for anti-gravity to do some got you imprompts, so very manual work. Got you. And what do you use, Claude? So I use Cursor, but I use libraries at AI, and use Cursor libraries. AI understands well and can generate. Got you with no much. Got you for my part. Yeah, okay, got you. So see, I'm a little bit more picky on the design front. So I've been trying to find a good process to come up with the design first and then basically build out the back end. And that's been sort of my process altogether. That being said, though, it's been really hard. So Google Stitch is definitely a go-to for me. I'll just tell you why. So for example, this is a good example of it. Google Stitch will allow me to kind of build this out. You can keep creating new pages. There's inconsistencies. So for example, if you look here, how do I zoom in without, yeah, here. So there's inconsistencies. For example, see, look at this top right hand here, and then look at this top right hand here. But I can deal with that in code, right? So that's fine. But Google Stitch will allow me to do it. The reason why I normally use Google Stitch is because of the fact that it has the ability to extract. See here, I can click on thing and I can view the HTML, and it's pure HTML. So this has been my go-to in terms of like getting pure HTML, and then I would use the HTML, save it in the project, and then convert it to React component by component, create the header, create the footer and stuff. This is still a good approach, but the truth is I would only do it for really large project where I need to kind of fiddle around with the UI layout a little bit before I actually get to code, right? That's where we do. Where we do. Of lately, the Google AI Studio has been pretty good also, like Gemini 3.0. It's been really fantastic. Last week I kind of messed this up because I was on AI Studio and I couldn't figure out how to use it because I dropped in my prompt in here and it didn't show me the code. And it turns out that you have to come from, see, they have 3 different options here. There's playground and then there's build. You have to be in the build mode. So just keep that in mind if you're doing any single thing inside of here, just as a heads up. So, so with that, what are we doing here? Right, so we got our PRD. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this here, family reunion planner, goals. We're going to copy this here. We're going to take this. I'm going to drop it in both models. We're going to see what happened. And I'm just one-shotting this entire thing. So multi-family reunion page. So I'm just going to drop it in AI Studio. And I have the free credit with WhatsApp. We're just going to let it build. And then I'm just going to pick the best one. But I'm going to do it inside of here as well, too, just for the sake of comparing. So new features, thinking, and prototypes. Okay, so we don't, yeah, okay. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna do web app. Actually, we're gonna do mobile. We're gonna paste it inside of here. And then we're just gonna let that rip also. See what it comes up with. And then I'm also gonna go to Lovable. I'm gonna do the same thing. And Lovable will give me a React app, but the truth is it doesn't really matter so much. I'm kind of coming around to the fact that I have to do React sometimes, like for these lightweight applications, even though I have very strong opinion about it from a development standpoint. So yeah, okay, so let these guys cook. Let's see what happens, and then we'll come back. Any other questions for me while you guys here? We got 4 people inside of here, so I might as well take some questions. If you got any single thing about anything, let me know. We can talk about some other stuff. Are you guys taking some time off for the holidays, or what's happening? Anybody? It's actually, where are you from? Like who? I know Gabrielle is in Brazil. Car, where are you from? You're. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the live. So where are you from? And then who else we got inside of here? Since we got 4 people, 3 of them, one of them is me. So we got 3 people inside of here. 1 person has a message. Just curious. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, now while all this design stuff is going, what we're going to do is, can you give me the requirements for the database backend? The D1, Cloudflare D1 schema database outline. Oh, from Finland. Oh, we got a Finland in the house. I'm jealous. I wish I was in your country right now, sir. That's cool. That's cool. From Finland. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the thing. And are you in my school community? I don't know if you are. Are you in the school community? Let me go check. Are you in here from Finland? Let's go on the map. The cool thing is we could go look at the map and see. No, I don't see a Finland here, buddy. You're not in here. So join. And where's the link? The link is right at the top of this video, by the way. Dwayne.me. Or it's just in the bottom. It should be is it in the description? Let me see. No, it's not in the description in here. I should put it in the description now. I will put it in the description. But it's at the top there. But just for the sake of thing. Dwayne.me. Nope. Okay. Join my school community. I'm interested to see what kind of projects you're working on. Free community. So join. I'm going to drop it in the chat. So yeah, but thanks for participating and welcome and join, because this is where we kind of share. I'll consider joining. No problem, sir. Just so you know, it's 100% free. There's no picture or any single thing here. It's my place where I could kind of give you some guidance, and we could go very specifics. I'm working right now. I'm working on my 7-day challenge course, which is basically sort of like how to get you exactly what we just talked about, but more in detail, right? To set up a 7-day challenge. And if you're Cloudflare or you're doing anything with the Cloudflare space, I'm building out this course right now. I got some more details to put inside of here. So all 100% free. And just to be clear, some of this stuff is already on YouTube, but it's just that this is my more structured place. And if you share any of the things that you're working on, then at least I can kind of comment on it and stuff like that. So there's some benefits, okay? And like I said, 100% free. There's no sales pitch here. There's no nothing. It's just join the community. Is a great place so that we can kind of connect and share stuff. But thanks for letting me know, though. I appreciate that very much. Okay, all right. So this is what Sketch is giving me. This is actually looking pretty good, actually. So this is looking pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Let's go see. Let's zoom in here. I'm kind of liking this so far. And then we're gonna pick. We're gonna vote. You guys are gonna help me vote and pick which one is the best. Which is the best tool. So let's do this. Oops. There we go. So let's zoom in a little bit here. All right. So bringing the family together. We got a nice home page here. Sign up. So you got to sign up or log in. So put your email address. Interesting. The question is, do I want email address or do I want phone numbers? Because some of these people don't even have phone. Like, I don't even know if they have. Some of them have email addresses. My family is a little bit behind the times. Getting better management. Sign up. Okay, let's just see what we got first. So now upcoming event. So we can create an event here. Past events. Great. We got a. Okay, that's cool. Event details, so we could add an event. That's fantastic. Okay. Directory, so we got the directory. We could branch off. We could filter by family. This is looking pretty good. This is actually looking really nice. We got profile picture for every person. Contact us. Family connection. Spouse. Okay. Parents. Children. Siblings. That's cool. Parents. Okay, got you. And then I take it, I could click into that and see the parent as well too. One thing I don't like on AI tools is the fact that they look similar and AI look alike. Yes. How are you avoiding this? This is a very, very good point. So the truth is, I prompt my way out of it. This is a really good point that you're making. So that's why I use these tools like this, because it helps me to kind of really just look at the design, right? We're not even talking about code right now. We're just looking at the design, and we're basically just looking at this. So this allows me to just kind of focus on the HTML and just kind of iterate on that front. So what I would do is I would actually export all of these. If I was going to use this one as an example, right? I would export all of this, put it in one HTML thing locally, and then iterate on it and say, change this, make this, whatever cases, purely in HTML to get all the pieces and make sure that it's all functioning purely in the HTML side. From that particular point, it becomes sort of a subject thing. So I'll give you a real example. My lead score tool, get leadscore.ai, this tool here, the website, you could argue is AI. You could definitely say this is AI, related. It has that kind of AI feel, okay? However, the purple just happened to be the purple that all the AI tools kind of use. But if I go in here, this is the actual, let me see if I've got a demo account here. So let me go to a demo account. So here, right? Every one of these things, I basically just vibe code the sections individually. Okay, so I vibe coded the top, I vibe coded this page, and just to be clear, I did this before all of these fancy Lovable and all these tools were out. This was before. So that was the hardest thing for me to do. For example, all of this section below here, every one of these sections kind of looks somewhat different. And that's because I vibe coded every part of it individually. And for this, I use V0 because V0 was pretty good at the time. They're okay now. I found better tools, but this one here I did with V0. And what I would do is I built out a basic framework, and then I took the code and then drop it into V0 and had V0 customize the component and give me back a new improved version of it. Same thing, see for example, like this playbook section. So I'm going to argue this doesn't look as AI. It's still AI-ish, but I'm going to argue it looks a little bit different. And the side panel, like I brought this in on my own. Like this is stuff that I just brought in on my own, and then I vibe coded each individual component. So the minute you want AI to stop looking like AI, you have to start drilling down to the component level. It does make a lot more work, but you can do it. Can you manage design context in Stitch? For example, use glue stack components, tailwind components. No, sadly, you can't do that. Make the design system that has consistent styling. So you can get away with some level of consistent styling in Stitch. It's pretty good. It's not great. Okay. It gets you, I'd say about 60-70% of the way. Here's what's going to happen. If I ask it to add another page, can you create another page that has like a map of all the different connectors, so I could kind of visually see how the family are connected, and it's more like a heat map almost of like where, you know, lump the families into groups. So as an example, if I do something like this, you will see that it might, depending on, AI is not deterministic, so it might work, it might not work. But you see, it's going to create me a new page here, right? It's creating it over. Oh my goodness, where's my? Can't drag here. It's creating it over here, but there's no guarantee that it's going to look the same as the other ones. That's where I find Stitch is just a little bit kind of wonky. That's the problem with it. That being said, though, just to get the pure HTML, it's definitely one of the better tools. And like I said, the good thing about it is that you could sort of extract the components, put the components in your project, and then once you do, like if you say I like this header, I like this footer, I like this whatever, like you could just use those components and then things. So that's what I've been doing, is kind of just taking the individual pieces and then putting them together, right? See, for like example, like if I want to change this color scheme from green to something, I wouldn't do it in here because it would start to get wonky. It might do half of it and the other half it doesn't do. It's just a really good starting point, right? So that's literally the problem with all of these tools. That being said, though, I did watch today. I did watch a video today, and I'm going to pull it up because this guy, he knows a thing or two. He built it's called Agent OS, and he's now built a new thing called Design OS. So let me see if I could find it for you here. YouTube Studio, no, not Studio. Da 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 da. Where are you? Come on, your YouTube channel. Where's my history? Come on. History. Where are we? Come on. History here. Yeah. So here, Design OS. I literally just watched this morning. I'm going to try this out because he is focused on trying to build an operating system that could do this more consistently. What I like about his approach is, you see here, you kind of just walk through from end to end, doing all of the different pieces. So you basically just do a whole bunch of upfront work, doing the color schemes, the layout, the design, the whole 9 yards. You can basically walk through the entire thing. And then from there, then you start doing the design from there, and it just builds you a whole bunch of components. This is a fantastic video to watch, by the way. Let me link to him, because he did a pretty good job with this, outlining sort of the problem, whatever. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now. Yeah, check this guy out. He's really good at what he does. I'm starting to pay more attention to the work that he's doing. He built a previous thing called uh, um, he built something called Agent OS, which is sort of like a spec kit type competitor to build spec kit type stuff. What I like about him is that he's very good at presenting his work, and he's inspiring me to do some of the same. But fantastic, definitely recommend that you go check him out in terms of like getting more granularity from a design perspective. It's spitting out all React. As long as you're okay with React, you're good. For me, I got some issues. I'm like the only person on the face of the planet that is just not comfortable with React as my default. And that's only because I got spoiled with Nox and I have some opinions about it. But yeah, I digress. Where are we? Okay, so that's what Stitch done. Oh, right. Yeah. So see here. Okay, look. See. Okay, completely misunderstood me because it did a map of where they're located. And I was like, well, yeah, okay, that's not what I was trying to do, but whatever. So let's see what Lovable did. Okay. So Lovable did something completely different, right? Now, the question is, how does this look from a mobile standpoint? Yeah. So mobile, it kind of falls apart a little bit, right? Let's see. I kind of needed mobile first. Like, this is cool and all, but I should have specified mobile first design. Yeah. So what do we do? Do we reprompt it again? I'm probably gonna have to upgrade. I only have 1.3 credits remaining. I don't even know what that means. Can you make it mobile first? We'll see. Okay, whichever though. Okay, and then the last one. What was the last one we did? We did Sketch. We did Lovable. Oh, I did AI Studio. Where's AI Studio? Hang on a second. Oh, I think I lost it. AI Studio. So yeah, so AI Studio build family reunion. Let's see what it did. A little more basic. Mobile friendly by default. Attending, maybe not attending. All right, you guys pick. You guys tell me how much work you want to give me. This is the directory. Which one looks the best? So we got, oh, look at that. Oh, that's kind of cool. Got a little funky little relationship thingy right here. AI planner. What is this? Oh, yeah. Okay, we don't need that. So we got a directory. It doesn't have the event. Well, actually, yeah, this is the events part here. Family members, confirmed attendee, budget goal. Yeah. You guys tell me which one. So we could go the easy route. We could go the easy route because this is all React components here. Annoying. Now it does give me the HTML version, does it? Yeah, it looks like it did. No, it doesn't. It's all React component. It's just annoying. But okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. We're building it in React today. I'm forced to learn React. So we got let's go with number 1 is Stitch. Number 2 is Lovable. 3 for Google AI Studio. You guys tell me how much work you want to give me. Number 1 is most work. Number 2 is probably they're about the same. Number 2 is probably more. No, I think number 3 is the least amount of work. So yeah, no, I think number 2 is the least amount of work. I think Lovable is the least amount of work. So you guys tell me which one. 1, 2, or 3? 1 for Stitch, 2 for Lovable, 3 for Google. Put it in the chat. Let's see how much you guys like me. Show the Lovable more. Oh, okay, show the Lovable more. So let's see. Let's make the Lovable one a little bit bigger. So Lovable, definitely, it's not mobile friendly per se. It has more of a subtle kind of feel. It's a decent UI. Let's see where you click on it, what happens. Okay, there's a pop-up kind of thingy. A little bit bigger. Let's see what we got here. You could add a member. You got the family tree. Okay, that doesn't work. RSVP. Okay, that doesn't work either. Payment. Okay, what works? Oh, you know what? I think it doesn't really do. Oh, yeah. Okay, the dashboard is fine. So we got a dashboard. We got the family directory. We don't have a family tree. We don't have RSVP. Memorials page. We don't have that. Gallery. We don't have. Messages. We don't have. Settings. We don't have either. And I think that might be a credits thing. So if you guys say this one here, maybe I might build it out a little bit more with some credits. But that's that. This is the Stitch one. So the Stitch one is mobile friendly also. Right? It's a mobile friendly audience. So mobile is where it wants to be. This one definitely has the most comprehensive UI set of features. No question about it. Because it has, you could even create the events here, right? Which is fantastic. You can see the events directory. You can see the profile. You could see the parent. Like, you could see a lot more stuff here. So, but I don't want to skew you guys thought process. So number 1 for Stitch, number 2 for Lovable, number 3 for Google. Let's preview this one here again. Let's go back to full screen. Let's go to the mobile. Let's go to current screen size. So the Google one is like meh. It doesn't. It's okay. Like it's very Google designy. This background style here, this thing. But this is cool. I like this. This very elasticy type of thing. Stitch one looks like something you can build the flows best. Yeah, I do think so. Stitch definitely. This one's an AI planner. I don't know why you wanted me to put an AI planner in there. So is it number 1? Gabriel. So you're saying Stitch definitely looks like I can do the best flow. No question about it, for sure. But you guys pick whichever one. So number 1, number 2. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't sell it with broken links. Send invitation, AI assistant. Yeah, so. I feel like well, I'm not gonna. I wanted you guys to pick. Definitely what? Number 1? You're saying definitely, but I don't have a number. You give me 1, 2, or 3. That's what I'm looking for. What do you guys think? Okay, going once, going twice. Stitch for me. Okay, fair enough. And I think Gabrielle will probably Stitch. So I'm kind of leaning on Stitch 3. So we'll do Stitch. A little bit more work, but we'll do Stitch. So all right, decision has been made. So let's just do it the simplest, straightforward way possible. So we're gonna do this because we got to do it from scratch. So we might as well just kind of set up the entire project here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here. We got to kind of build things out. This is the problem with Stitch, is that it's just not as good from a thought out standpoint. You can improve the auto option feature. You can improve with other options features. Yeah, so you were saying for developer switch still with Stitch. Okay, got you. Okay, so we're all in agreement with Stitch here. So we're gonna do family planner, PLANNER. Okay, fantastic. The downside with Stitch, you got to download these things manually. Like there's nothing that I know of. Let me see the share button. What does that have? Yeah, nothing. And yeah, this is rename project. And yeah, that was it. That's it. So I want to choose. Where's my? Damn it. Fit the screen. There we go. Yeah, so you actually have to just come in here individually. It's kind of annoying because you can't just get all of them. You have to come in here individually, and then you have to do download. See, even if I do export, you would think that, oh, all AI Studio. Let's see if it actually does it. AI Studio will open HTML image files, will download the background. It may take much minute to export many screens. Watch a demo. Okay, let's try this and see what happens. Let's try this and see what happens. So What front-end stack are you going to use? If I export the HTML thing, no, I might use, I'll use an auth. Okay, I know you asked me this question earlier about better auth. Maybe we'll use better auth in this particular one, just the kind of thing. There are lots of, let's see, what was this? So what about backend and auth? So for backend, we're going to use D1 DB database. We're going to use workers, obviously. And what else do we need here? The truth is, with this kind of stuff, I'm tempted to use a NoSQL database because it's a little bit better suited for this kind of stuff, but I'm going to stick to an SQL database. There are lots of, what's this? There is lots of questions once in the chat from Car. What about auth are we doing? Oh, okay. Sorry, did I miss some questions? So, for authentication, we're gonna, you know what, we're gonna use auth. I've been pushed enough that everybody's been asking me to use better auth, so we're gonna try better auth. I've actually never implemented better auth on a real project before because I'm still kind of learning sort of exactly what they're doing. But we're gonna try it out and see, and then we'll find out how easy it is. So let's see. If I push it to AI Studio, what happens? Let's see what happens here. So build, and then AI Studio will actually do the building for me. Is that what is okay? Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what happens. We send the same message at the same moment. Oh, got you. Okay, cool. No worries. Better auth it is, because I know you guys are asking. You guys keep asking me about better auth over and over. So we're going to do the better auth. Okay, so you know what? Hey, so they got some new features here. So we're going to try it. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do exactly what they're asking for. So I'm just going to do Control A. And then I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click on export. And that seems to put all of them inside of there. And then we're going to do build with AI Studio and we're going to see what happens. So it's taken, oh, interesting. It's just sending over the screenshots. Okay, sure. Let's do that. And you know what? I want to say build me a screenshot that looks like this. Can you hot link images from thing? The question is, I'm going to make the login the phone number. I'm going to do a phone number. I'm going to do a phone number login system. That's what I want to do. Can we do a phone number login system? Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, we might end up having to do Twilio for this. Because the truth is that I need a login system, but I don't need an authentication system as much as I need a phone number verification system. But I digress. We'll see. I might reserve the right to switch on the better auth thing just because of the nature of who I'm building this for. But let's go build this and see what happens with the AI Studio. So just for curiosity, what SQL database do you use on Cloudflare workers? So we're going to use what NoSQL? There's no NoSQL database on Cloudflare. So I am a diehard. This is where my Azure sort of backend comes in. I'm a CosmoDB fan. But this is a little bit in the enterprise level space. I'll admit that. Okay, not necessarily vibe coding territory here. But when any single thing NoSQL, I wouldn't even touch another database. It's Mongo compatible, so it's 100% compatible with MongoDB, but it runs at cloud scale, all this stuff. Similar to your ClickHouse, by the way. You mentioned ClickHouse to me earlier. So this thing, obviously, this is a NoSQL database sort of thing. But yeah, this is what I use. And honestly, their free tier is very, very generous. So it's really, really solid. It's a rock solid application. So I'm always tempted to use this. The problem is for building like a vibe coded application, it's too much of an overkill. It's just there's a lot of complexities around sort of doing the implementation. So I tend to stay away from it. But I'm actually going to build out a couple of frameworks. One of the things I plan to do in the school community is I'm going to put some frameworks to be able to connect to either this or MongoDB with the same interface. So you use CosmoDB at your work. Oh, great. Yeah, very great. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's good. So you're right up your alley. Yeah. So it's a fantastic database. It's really good, properly solid, but has a lot of moving parts, as you know. So you got to think about partition. You got to think about a few things properly to kind of get it right. So we're going to use D1. But any single thing that I build production-wise, like for all this stuff here, MongoDB. In fact, this application here, so one of the goal is with this application is that it can run at cloud scale, and it's all running on NoSQL. And the reason I chose NoSQL to manage sort of like this, see all this drag and drop and all this type of stuff and this list stuff, is because I wanted to be able to just have insane amount of records. So the goal and the promise with this application is that one developer, or not developer, but one salesperson should be able to manage 100,000 leads seamlessly, like instantly like that. And so I spent a lot of time focusing on partition keys and stuff like that to make sure that when you basically drag and drop, like you're basically just doing like a single read and a single write out, right? With the partition key. So there's a lot of optimization from that particular point. And they allowed me to do that in a simple manner, to basically partition the data by tenant, partition the data by the uniqueness of the record. So this record, each record is guaranteed to be unique per tenant. And that's either by the domain name or by the phone number or whatever the primary thing is that we're validating again. So that's what that allowed me to do. And I think right now it's a new application, but I think we got just approaching like 1 million records inside of here, like nothing crazy yet. But so far it's been rock solid in terms of the scaling. So yeah. So okay, so we're all in agreement with that. We're on the thing. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it's just going through and it's just building out the pages. So this is good. This is actually kind of cool, because the truth is that Stitch, while it's good, it doesn't get you a full app. And yeah, this will allow me to at least get proper React components. I just hate the fact that it's always React. Like I'd rather me get in a Nux application, but you know, I'm gonna keep my grief to myself. Is this going to be a progressive web app? Yes, 100%. 100%. All of the mobile apps that I build are all with progressive web apps right now. I have a progressive web app for my... So here's while we talk about this, we'll talk about this for a bit. So this application, I do have it in the App Store. This mobile app here, where is it here? So I do have this in the App Store. However, of recent, we've rewritten this entire application, and I made a choice from day one to build it as a progressive web app. Now, it's going to end up being a native application also, but it's going to be slightly like a hybrid. So what I've recognized is 90% of the stuff I can do with having sort of like a PWA, a progressive web app. But what I wanted to do was make the experience, like the shell and the footer, like the base, the footer and stuff like that, native. So if you go to thing, see here, it prompts you right away to try and install the application, and you could actually install it. If not, then you have to log in with it. Let me just log in quickly here, and then I'll thing. So actually, you know what? I think I have this on the dashboard. 1 second. I have this on this one here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So here, this is a preview link. So here, see, it prompts you to keep logging in all the time. This is a PWA as well too. And what it uses Twilio SMS OTP. Uses it uses Twilio one-time verification system. This one here, to do the authentication, because they deal with all of the SMS and the retries and all that kind of fancy stuff that basically comes into play. So that's what it's using for its login system, which works really well actually, because for the technicians, they don't. This is an app for contractors, so like construction workers, plumbers, electrical people. So they normally enter the phone numbers of the users in the main app, and then on the mobile, it's just basically just entering the phone number that then gets validated against the main app, that then gets validated against their actual phone to make sure that they're actually authenticated, and then we give them a token. to log in. So that's what this does. And I might end up doing the same thing with this application just because it's easier for a login system. We'll see. We'll see. So, okay, we don't need that. We're going to skip Lovable. We're going to go right here. Just a stitch. Okay, how far are you here, buddy? Are you done with this app or what are we doing here? Let's see. So full screen. Do I have to zoom out a little bit more? Yeah, okay. So log in. Got that. Log in. Okay. Manage. Cool. How do we click on guess? Yes. No. Sort by name. Pending. What else? Attending. Pending. Denied. RSVP. Okay. What else do I have? We got a map. I don't know why we need a map. Whatever. We got a tree. Okay, it built out all the features. This is pretty good, right? So the cool thing is I can iterate a little bit. If I wanted to change the color scheme and all that kind of stuff, I could. I won't in this particular case because I want to move forward. But this is not bad, considering I just went from, Stitch all the way to AI Studio. And that's the first time I've done that, by the way, because I've used Stitch, but normally I was prepared, to download each of them manually because they didn't have that feature before, and then basically slowly convert them into, components. But fantastic, that has done a tremendous amount of work for me, which is great. And so what are we going to do? We're going to go back here. We're just going to click on this guy here. We're going to connect it to GitHub right off the top. And I'm going to connect on that. Authorize. Yeah, it's a fantastic start. And then I got to put my code in here. It's a amazing start. Where are we? No. GitHub. Where are you? Boo. So 6, 7, 2, 2, 3. Oh, geez, putting the wrong code here. Hang on a second. 1 second. So 4, 3, 4, 9, 8, 2. All right, we are connected. Repository name is going to be Family Planner. We're going to make it private for now. Need a description. Yeah, this is a great start. So connect it to a repo, and guess what we're going to do? As soon as we get this over here, we're going to try to ship this to Cloudflare one time, right? We're not wasting any time here. So commit and stage, yes. Fantastic. And then let's go get our GitHub. And then let's go get our Cloudflare. While we're doing that, go get our Cloudflare. Where is you? No, I need to switch to personal. Repositories. Family Planner, there we go. Okay, we're going to pull this bad boy down. Copy. Come down here. Pull this up, delete this because we don't need this. We're going to do that from here now. New folder. CD. I presume it's done, but not the case. Open up. And then we're going to try to see if we can. I've experienced some issues with pushing new code to GitHub. So let's see. First of all, let me just make sure this guy is done. No more commit changes. Okay, great. So that's good. Right. So I actually ran into a bunch of issues when I was trying to push to Cloudflare the last time. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to do this. Next step would be to scale. Let's see here. What do you got here? So next step would be scale this to be social platform where people can join family events. Yes, 100%. 100%. So what we're gonna do is, push it to cloud scale immediately. Why not, right? So yeah, that's a beauty about Cloudflare. So you have to think about scale. It's just we're global scale all the time, every time. Just love it. So let's log in again. Cloudflare, more security logins. Ba-ba-ba. So Cloudflare login. Okay, so 66979. Oh, wrong authentication. I'm screwing out here. 667. All right, we're in Cloudflare, and let's okay, so I'm going to do one thing very quickly because I don't want to waste time with this, and I ran into this problem the last time I tried to deploy a React app. So I made a documentation inside here because this end up, see there, this is all my other videos are 7 minutes long. This one was a 30 minutes long because I ran into a problem with React when I was trying to deploy it. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to go all the way down here. And I'm just going to copy the troubleshooting section. I deliberately put this in here because I wanted to document this for people just in case they ran into problems in isolated. So troubleshooting workers versus pages got you. So there was a bunch of different stuff that happened because Cloudflare is still doing some conversion between workers and pages, and I just happened to get stuck with it. So I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to go to this here, my new planner app. And I'm just going to tell it, can you basically ensure that my project is set up properly for dealing with deploying to Cloudflare automatically? Here are some gotchas and some problems that I ran into in the past. So ensure that the project is properly set up, the React app, so we could run it and get it into Cloudflare using this as a guideline. So with this, I should be able to get all of the hiccups out of the way before I actually start pushing it into thing. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys have run into any of these issues before, but there's definitely some weirdness between Cloudflare workers and Cloudflare pages. And honestly, it took me what was supposed to be like a simple push to Cloudflare ended up taking me like a whole hour to fix it out. And I kind of distilled the video down to like half an hour because I didn't want to cut out too much things out of it. So it ended up being a 30 minutes thing, but I left it as it is just in case this problem still exists with Cloudflare. So in the event that you're actually trying to deploy to Cloudflare, you run into any of these issues, try this. This video will definitely help you out. Just a heads up for anybody else in the future. But yeah, hey, we're making progress, guys. We're making progress here. So let me start to cut down some of these tabs so I don't have too many things open while I kind of think. So we got the Stitch, we did the Google, we did this, we talked about that. Okay. Get rid of all of that. We got our family planner. We're going to start going to connect interest in. I have no experience on deploying, on the cloud. I've always deployed it manually at Git CLI, doing CLXR. Okay, great. Hey, then today's your day. Today is your day. And then what do you do? So you said basically TypeScript, Terraform that fully supports Cloudflare. Got you. Okay, so that's what you guys do. Okay, but today's your day. Today's your day. So we're gonna just double check that this is good. So okay, so let me just tell you what's going on here. So for it to work with Cloudflare, you have to have a Wrangler file. The Wrangler file basically will tell the build. So obviously when React build, it's going to basically put it in the this folder. And we just need to tell it that it's a single page application so that Cloudflare doesn't like override the routing in the backend. That's the thing that we need to kind of work for. So that's what we're doing with this wrangler.toml file. And like I said, that's what the directory is going to be. And then this is just basically making sure that we can deal with some whatever, some direction thing. So we could just do npm install wrangler login wrangler deploy, and this should work. Okay. I'm going to run this locally just to make sure that it's actually working locally first. So let's just make sure it works locally. So let's just do bun install. And then we're going to do, because, you know, bun is pretty fast. And then we're going to do bun run dev. Perfect. And let's see if it actually runs locally. And then as long as it runs locally, we're going to deploy it to cloud scale. Okay. Did it not put an index page? Let me just see. I just put this over here. So did it not do an index page? So it has app.here. Okay. I'm running my app locally with bun and I'm just seeing a blank page. Can you help me figure this out? So let's just do a new thing here. Yeah, so just want to make sure that's actually running locally, make sure there's no issues. And let's just do back that again, localhost, because it might just be startup thing. Yeah, no, it's definitely not showing anything here. And this is the beauty of Vibe code, and you just let AI fix it. So yeah, there's very little code here. There's just some background stuff. There's a header. It's doing stuff, but it's just not showing any single thing in the page. It's just doing the root. So it just might be that, yeah, there we go. It's just set in the default route. So I finally removed the import map index. So remove the import map from your index.html, vite locally started, now restart dev. Perfect. Okay, scroll down. Scroll down. Oh, really? Okay, that's, I need to, geez. I can't see, let's close the developer tool. There we go. Log in. Perfect. Log in. Okay, so let's get it to cloud scale now. Cloud scale. So he said, I'd open the browser console to see where they're at. Yeah, did that already. We're good. Don't worry. I got you. All right, let's go to Cloudflare. So Cloudflare, one second. Gotta do edit. Turn this bad boy on. Okay, and Cloudflare. Oops. Okay, here we go. So Cloudflare, we're going to come down to workers pages. And look at this. We're going to click on, oh, you know what? I forgot. I got to push the code up. Let's do a git commit. Ready, R-E-A-D-Y for Cloudflare. Okay, let's just make sure that that is in Cloudflare. So refresh this here. Just make sure that that check-in actually happened. Yep, ready for Cloudflare. There we go. Fantastic. All right, so now we are going to, okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter. So now we're going to go click on this guy here. Click on connect to with GitHub. Change this to my personal. Family planner. Next. Family planner. Load in. Bun. And deploy. Let's see what we got, baby. All right. Let's see if we're going to go into this whole thing. Again, the reason why I did this ahead of time is because there was some nuance with how Cloudflare thinks. So if you literally just go in there and just copy all of this troubleshooting stuff here, right? And just tell it, just make sure that you avoid all of this from day one. This should work right off the top. I say should work because I haven't actually tried it out yet. See, okay, so we got one small little error. Okay, entry point, interesting. So see here, now it's telling me like I got an entry point, this was not found, okay? Now this might actually be the same thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna go to this file here, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna paste this, but I'm also gonna go paste my troubleshooting because it might have missed something in the setup. So I'm just gonna make sure that it's just make sure that it doesn't do it like any of these mistakes, so it doesn't have to kind of figure it out again. Then one keeps you right. So let's just do this and use this as a guide. Okay, paste that, and then I'm going to say I'm getting these errors with my deployment. Okay, so hopefully it should figure it out based on the fact that I've given it the troubleshooting and I've given it the worker and I've given it all the pieces in place so it could figure it out pretty fast. It should. Okay, let's see what happens. So fingers crossed that we don't have to like iterate on this too many times. So option 1, recommended, configure Vite to copy the worker file during the build, and 2, remove the worker, remove some things. So now you can run every build, copy the file. So let's go with option 1. Whatever the recommended is, just go until you could get things going. All right, so I've already implemented option 1. Let's test it locally. Run build. Okay, make sure that we're good. And again, like I said, I've iterated so many times on this here that it should be fine. Okay, so let's just push it up. Okay, so did a commit or test wrangler, commit and push. So I'm letting it do the CI pipeline process because I want to make sure that it's going through Cloudflare process. Okay, so it did a git add. So let's just go test that now. So I'm just going to continue to project and see here, build in progress. So now we can click on that again. Let's see if it's actually going through this time. Oh my goodness, we got a failure again. What did we get? Uploaded base. Still the same thing. So let's see if it's the same thing. I hope I don't have to iterate on this too many times. But now I'm just going to go copy this, paste this in here so I can see what the problem is. Let's see if the issue now is that Cloudflare. Yeah, we could still that this has been the nuanced problem that I've been kind of experiencing with the bringing a React code and trying to shove it up into Cloudflare right away. So like I said, hopefully it doesn't go on for too long. We're going to spend about thing. Let's commit again. Let's see what happens. So now that we've committed. Okay, done. Now it's building in progress again. Hopefully it fixes it this time. Let's see. The last time it was because I was coming from Lovable. This time I'm coming from AI Studio, so there's possible that there might be some nuanced differences. The good news is every single time I learn something, I take that and I basically update this documentation here so that you could just basically copy that and just dump it into the deployment. So let's see. Hopefully it works this time. Let's see. Okay, deploying. What do we got here? So succeed, build succeed. Oh, there we go. Deploy the Cloudflare network. Fantastic. Great. So we got a build in progress. So now let me just test it, make sure that it's actually good. Go to build settings. Let's copy this family dev. And you guys feel free if you want to go check this out as well too. You could do that. So let's go here. Bam! We are global scale. Come down here, click on login. Click on login, right? Perfect. We got our map. We got our fantastic. Okay, global scale already, guys. Global scale already. So yeah, that's what I mean by just kind of doing that iteration. So now I need to just find out what the problem was. So can you give me a summary of what the problem was here so that I can put together a detailed documentation for it? And I'm just going to put it as ask and then go from there. Yes, fantastic success. Like I said, global scale. So now that we have this, right, we're sitting in Cloudflare, we got our application up and running. We can kind of focus on the thing. So thank you for that. And I'll go out for a meeting and I'll be back. Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. You do your thing, come back, watch the recording. Like if you missed the rest, just join the school community. You're already in the school community, and then just go. You can watch a recording in there or on YouTube, anyone. But yes, that is awesome. We are live. Thank you for that. So yeah, so okay, so we're live, not live. We are live, but what I want to do, like I said, is the important part is documenting the problems here. So Cloudflare worker deployment issues, so miss worker entry. So when deployment, Vite-based React component workers, root cause is that configured mismatch between blah, 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 why this happened, etc., yada, yada, yada kind of deal. Okay, so I want to just take this. This is what I've been doing. I'm going to take this here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm just going to say, can you document this properly for my school community? And go to here. Can you document this properly for my school community? Okay. And then we take that and then we just put it inside of the school community. I'm doing it right away because I don't want to forget. Just in case anybody hit this problem again, you could just copy that entire section of the troubleshooting, drop it into the AI, and you should be able to get up and running pretty fast without having to worry about the nuanced details between a lot of these AI models, etc. So I'm going to copy this now. Problem with the workers, this. Yeah, so you see here why this happened. I'm going to copy this, prevent it, wrangler.ts. So hopefully this is fine. Ship it, post it. If this hits, if I code an insight. So yeah, okay, we'll just copy up to this. We don't care about that. And then I'm going to just go up here, edit, scroll all the way down to the troubleshooting section. Troubleshooting. I'm just going to just paste it right below here. Yeah. So we can just copy that whole section into the AI and just go from there. All right. So now that we actually have something live, second thing we want to do is we want to create our database. So we went back to AI Studio, ChatGPT. We're going to go back to Family Reunion. We said we were going to create a database. So there we go. So we have our database here. So I'm just going to copy this entire thing. And we got two options. We could tell the AI locally to, okay, so we got to do a couple things. So first, let's do this. Let's back up a bit here. We got to back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we got some proper documentation in place. So I'm going to create new. Actually, I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on create a GitHub Copilot instructions file. So that's number one. So we're going to let this rip. While that's happening, we're going to create a folder called docs. We're going to go take our PRD. So live event planner. We're going to take our PRD. Oops. PRD. So what we want to do is we want to take this PRD here and we're going to create a PRD document with it. So we're going to go, thanks for this. So we're going to copy this. We're going to go across to this guy. We're going to create a brand new chat. So the chats now, this is a new feature, by the way. So the chats can kind of stay in the background while you do new chats. So you don't have to like wait until one is finished now, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to say, can you take this PRD document and then add it to the docs folder? Okay, so that's one. I'm going to take that PRD. Secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to take the schema, database schema requirements. And we're going to create the documentation for all of this stuff here also. Minimum MVP relationship next post. And we're going to go back to VS Code. We're going to click on new. Got a second one going there. And we're going to say, can you add this to the docs folder? Basically put the documentation for all of the database schemas for Cloudflare D1. Okay, we're going to paste that. What else do we have to do here? So we got our database, we got our backend. We're going to try to see if we could connect our backend, see if we could actually add events to the backend and add contacts. That's what we're going to try to finish up in the next segment here. So good progress though. Good progress. We're definitely making progress. We got all the pieces. We got all the thing. If you guys got any questions, let me know. Message me. I'm looking at the chat a little bit more now that I'm kind of waiting on things to happen. But let's see. So Yeah, so this is a cool feature, by the way, with the chat interface now. It could go, yeah, documentation is a very important step. Yes. Yeah, the documentation is by far the best. It's what kind of keeps it going. We're missing one thing though. We're missing a feature checklist, but I'll show you guys how to deal with that in a second here. So see, this is cool. So now if you click on this, by the way, it'll basically pop it out into a sidebar. So now you can kind of keep going through the chat. So see here. So this is still being worked on right now. It's thinking through the process. This one here is finish. So it created the PRD. So I like this UI now because at least I can keep doing more things rather than having to wait for the AI to kind of thing. I should do a video on my YouTube channel about this because it's actually pretty good. So updating the Copilot reference. So that's good. And we're going to wait for this one to finish because we want to wait for all this database stuff. Yeah, database schema. So I have to finish. And we need to create a checklist, a task list, a feature list, and a task list. Can you create a feature list so we can keep track of all the different features for the entire application as a markdown document? So we're going to do that. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create a task list so that we can keep track as we kind of progress through the different features. What things? So these are the feature lists. Okay, so that's fine. So we're going to copy this. Almost done. Almost done. Memories. What time is it in Finland right now? Is that late? It must be pretty late for you. Where's the car? So MVP definition. Copy. So back here. Oops, finish in 2 minutes. Yeah, okay, so that's fantastic. So we're going to create a new one and we're going to say, what was this again? Can you create a feature list and put it in the docs folder based on this? I mean, I could literally just create a file with with the markdown for the feature list, but I'm doing 10 almost 10 o'clock. Wow. So okay, not too late, like within reason. But that's good. Yeah, you say 10 o'clock, and all I could think about is my son that I had to put to bed last night, and I can't get my 3-year-old. Get this, okay? You guys think I don't have problems? I got problems, okay? I can't get my 3-year-old to go to bed before 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh my goodness. And last night it was 11, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's so frustrating. Like I talk to other parents at school and they're like, oh, what time does your kid go to bed? And they're like 7, 7:30, 8 at latest. Me on the other hand, I'm like 11. Yeah, I'm like my kid, like he just wants to do stuff in the night. Like he's just active. He wants to play train. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. No matter how much all different tactics I try, I just cannot get this kid to go to sleep. And the worst part is I have to say, well, I shouldn't say the worst part because, I'm only going to enjoy this once. So I do enjoy my time with him, but it's just sometimes I just want to get back to work. And I, honestly, because of that, I haven't been posting a lot of videos because this whole week was just a really rough week. But yeah, it's been tough. Hey, Mr. Simon, how are you doing, man? Good to see you around. I wasn't able to join earlier, but I'm here now. So when you have a chance while waiting for something, please give me a quick summary. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just do for sure. Happy to do that while we wait for a couple things going on. So let me do one more thing in the background and then we'll jump to that. So we are building, okay, can you give me a task list so that the AI can keep track of all the different items that is done? So today we're actually moving a little bit faster, Simon, and thanks by the way, thanks for joining, thanks for jumping in, thanks for asking, appreciate you as usual. So a couple things. Whirlwind tour. I had 2 calls this morning with people that I really had a really fantastic call with that are in the school community. Learned a lot about them. I'll be posting some videos about them in the school community. So that was cool. One from Brazil, one from Canada. So that was cool. And then well, first we're building a family reunion application so that people can MVP RSVP to family events, and this is so that we can keep track of, my personal sort of challenges with my life and keeping track of all the family events that's going to be happening over the holidays. So that's one. It's really for family reunion website. Then I created this timeline, which we've talked about before, but this where I just kind of distilled it down to a very sort of like niche, simple conversation. And honestly, it kind of spurred from the conversation that I had earlier with those guys and some of the challenges about building a startup. So making sure that you got your idea. If you have pick 3 ideas and basically try to figure out there, validate your idea. All things we've talked about in the past, but I try to keep it a little more concise and just kind of put it in a timeline. Once you validate your idea, build your landing page, try to go out and talk to people, try to talk to about 5 to 10 people. That will basically inform your information about the pain points that goes on your landing page to build your waiting list. So things we've all talked about in the past, but I'm going to keep repeating this over and over until everybody gets it. In fact, I will never stop repeating this. And then from there, you're going to use that to build out your MVP. You're going to take some of those people, you're going to put them on your beta list to get back the feedback. And then once you get enough sort of bugs and features out of the way, then you're going to basically come up with a launch strategy. And we talked about using product content, some other stuff. And then from there, build try to get at least 10 people, on your platform. And the goal is to try and figure out pricing, what's going to work, and then 2, demand, because that's what you need for investors. So that's kind of like a rough idea, things we've already talked about in the past, but I tried to kind of, like I said, distill it down in a little bit more concise manner in this conversation. And then some new features. So we actually went through Lovable. We did Lovable, we did AI Studio, and we did Google Stitch. And we compared all 3 of them together to try and see which was going to be the best design for this family reunion thing that we're building. So Google STICH. And we came to the conclusion, it was a vote actually, unanimous vote, that Google Stitch was the best for this because this is what it came up with. And it was pretty good because it actually did a decent job with the UI. And so from there, what we did is they have a new button now that if you do Control A and you do export, it'll export it and it'll send it over to AI Studio. So this is new. So this is what we did. So we sent it over to AI Studio and had AI Studio actually build it out. And I'm building it in React because, I can't go grace to grain of sand. So it built it out in React. From React, what we did is we exported it to GitHub, stuff that you already know. And then here's the part that because I had some problems before with deploying to Cloudflare. So what I did was in this video, in the Cloudflare 101, automating your deployment, the last video in here. There's more coming, but this is the last videos right now. I ended up spending an insane amount of time trying to get my React app from Lovable deployed to Cloudflare, and I ran into a bunch of problems. So I documented that entire thing here. So what I did was, for this deployment coming from Google AI Studio, is I just came all the way here down to the bottom. Oops, I passed it already. Looking for the troubleshooted section. Oh my goodness, really? Oh, did I break something? Oh, they're here. Yeah, there we go. So I basically just copied this entire troubleshooting section when I downloaded the app, and I basically just tell it, can you fix all of those problems? And it created the Tamil file and all that kind of stuff. And then we push it into GitHub, and then that came out. So that's kind of like a rough nutshell of where we are right now. So right now we have an app deployed to Cloud. The fastest we've ever done this, by the way, deployed to Cloudflare, sitting here, and it's a full-on, like I said, family reunion app. Has and we were kind of building it mobile friendly first, so it's going to be a PWA basically. But you could come in, you could see individual people, you could see the spouse or relationship or parents, you could get their phone number, etc. And you could see the events that are coming up for each member, who's attending, who's not attending, that sort of deal. So that's going to be that's basically where we're at right now. So what we're doing is we're basically doing the database portion of it. So hopefully that gives you sort of like a whirlwind tour of where we're at. So what do we have here? So right, the feature list. Okay, so this is the feature list. We've already done that. And can you create a feature list? Put it in the docs folder. So there we got that. Yeah, okay. And then the one thing now I need is just a checklist. So I ask it for a task list. Right. So I'm just putting all the different pieces in here. So this is the task list now. Task.md. Okay, paste that in there. So create a Git repository, initialize Git repository Wrangler kind of deal. Create a table. Create a tenants table. Create a users table. Family reunion table, etc., etc. Right. So with that, let's close all of this, and we're just going to open up a new thing. Just got to tell GitHub Copilot now. Can you review the GitHub Copilot file? Connect the docs, so connect the task list, PRD, feature list, database schema to the GitHub Copilot instruction, so that every single time you make a change, you're going to update the task list folder. Already also update the task list with all the things that's already done. We already have an application. We've already deployed it to Cloudflare, and now we're just focusing on the database aspect of things. It's already in Git. Fantastic. Perfect. Yeah. But welcome, man. Welcome. Always good to see you on a Friday afternoon. And like I said, we what I'm trying to do with this application, I spent a little bit more time on the business side because I'm realizing as I talk to more and more people, I'm recognizing that is a real challenge for most people, is really understanding how to sell. So I'm going to keep repeating that part over and over at the starting. But we're also moving a little bit faster because this application here with the Google Stitch, surprisingly, it was pretty good. Like I was impressed actually. I've liked the Google Stitch, but this idea about taking it and then transferring it to AI Studio to get the actual app and then bringing it down, this workflow is probably the fastest that that I've used to kind of get this much of a design system in play. So that's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good. And the good thing about Google Stitch is you could kind of modify things a little bit before you get it into code, right? So not a bad workflow. In fact, I'm going to do a video specifically on that on my channel. So yeah, okay, where are we? So okay, so I did the update thing. All right, so now we're going to talk about the database. We're trying to get a Cloudflare D1 database set up and deployed. And I won't even do it manually. We're just gonna do it to thing. So can you deploy a database, call it Family Reunion for my Wrangler project? For Cloudflare, and get all the scripts set up. So make sure all the APIs are set up properly. Not the API. Get ensure all the tables are set up properly. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna try to get a database going for the backend for this particular project. And my aim now is to try and see if I can get real data into. I'm going to try to get events going, and we're trying to get contacts going, because I think if I could get those two, then the rest is pretty much straightforward. And the goal is to add auth0. Now, everybody's been asking about better auth, so I'm going to try to do better auth on this app. But the truth is, I might end up taking a shortcut and doing Twilio authentication instead, because using Twilio's OTP. And the reason for this is most of the people that I'm dealing with, they're from they don't have like email addresses and stuff like that. So I might sort of validate by phone number and have this sort of be a mobile friendly version. So let's see. Okay, so create perfect. I'll create steps for you. Let me. Oh, am I doing the? Yeah, okay. I'm in the agent mode. Perfect. I'll create it. Okay, yes, doing the migration. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. So Wrangler create planner DB. Yes. Let's see. So database planning. Boo, boo, boo. Where is our database? Storage. And by the way, Simon, I haven't forgotten you with some of the R2 stuff. That's on my plate next. I'm going to try to see if I can push out some of that stuff over the weekend. So we got our database. We're going to deploy to this guy here. Man, Cloudflare loves to show these UUIDs live, eh? Edit blur. Jeez. There we go. And there. And I'm sure if I click into it, you'll see the UUID again. There we go. There. I know it. For a security company, they sure like to show this stuff. Okay, so that's good. All right. So allow, yes. Excellent. Now let me run the migration, remote database, proceed. Yes, we want to proceed. Upload complete, D1, process may take, proceed. Perfect. 10 rows, read. Perfect. Database. Okay. And we're definitely not doing any React server-side component, blah, blah, blah kind of deal. We're going to have our front end and our back end, which is the thing that I preach the most, okay? Because you have to be able to independently update your front end and your back end. I know that you got all this fancy React component with server-side this and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it simple, trying to keep it basic for most people to understand. And I think this is by far the best way to do it. So with that, we're going to have to make a backend. Perfect. Now let me create a speed data. Okay, so let's go test this, make sure that it's actually... Oh, there we go. Activities, payments, families. Okay, wow. Lots of stuff in there. People. Tenant ID. Okay, so you got lots of things in there. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we need a... Okay, so how do we do this? We need to kind of separate this into not a backend, but I need to use all of the information here as a foundation for the next backend. So what I'm going to do is a Cloudflare worker. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. I'm just going to ask it to just create. So yeah, let's do this. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to create a backend from this front end now, and then we'll hook the two up together. So actually, the other thing I want to do is let's just make some. We're going to populate it with some JSON data, so that the backend kind of knows how to deal with all this stuff ahead of time. So can you review the database schema and all of the requirements and the checklist, and create the data folder and populate the entire application with JSON data using locally the JSON data from local. In other words, replace all of the React static fields with data from a local DB. I'm going to separate my backend. So this will be the prerequisite for separating the backend into a separate independent API. So let's go. Yeah, so this is by far probably the most little sort of tricky part of it is now how do you take that UI stuff and then kind of make a backend that kind of matches the implementation, and that's what we're going to do. But before I do that, I want to make sure that it actually knows how to properly match all of the JSON on the front end. The question is, I don't know if 4.5 will do. Well, it might do it, because 4.5 is pretty good about like kind of getting all the entire infrastructure. So let's see when it creates a data folder what it does. So you got 17 tables in total, so it should be creating at least 17 JSON objects for me to use as my backend. And then I'm going to use that to kind of create an actual document that I could create a backend with. And while I'm doing that, what I'll do is I'm going to create a mono repo for both of these guys, because then that'll just make things a little bit easier. So we're going to call it let's call it family app. And then what I'll do is I'm going to move the family planner, which is this guy here, front end, into this guy here. I'm going to move them in together. So we'll do that in a sec. Let's just see where is that first. Progress, making lots of progress, much faster. I think we're getting more efficient with this process. So yeah. By the way, if you guys got any other questions for me, let me know. Put a like on the video if you can. That would be great. Definitely helps out the YouTube algorithm. We got about 3 likes in here, so we had more people join. So don't forget to like it. And we're gonna continue. I gotta make I often make also the store and state logic. So implementing with mock data before actually creating the business logic and the API to the backend. Yeah, that's actually a fantastic idea. It's the best way to kind of build, because then you could at least kind of work through all the details. It's kind of funny because up until, I don't know, AI really came about, I always started with the backend. I always started with like thinking about the data and modeling it and trying to orchestrate like all of the different pieces of the relationship. And suddenly with AI, that has shifted now to doing the design first and making sure the look and feel feels correct. And then from there, migrating it into the backend, which is obviously different. But to your point, you doing an intermediate where you have all the data, which is what we're doing right now, sort of like, set up in a dummy way where you can kind of click wrong and it still feels like a real application, but it's just using fake dummy data. But it's actual JSON that's sort of like being populated, makes a ton of difference, because now your backend just have to kind of match that. And yeah, 100%. I find that this is by far one of the best place to be from a vibe coding perspective, because it just gives you so much speed, right? Now, if you're a DB, DBA coming from that particular process is probably, they probably have a lot of things to say about that. But luckily, we don't have DBs around here. We're just vibe coding. We're trying to find efficiency and speed. So yeah, hands down. Hang on, I'm gonna eat my yogurt while I wait for all this stuff to load. Or forgot I had orange juice here. Okay, so where are we, buddy? Come on, speed. Yeah, the hardest thing is just waiting around for the AI to like finish its work, which is crazy because no human can move at this speed. But yet, as human beings, we're frustrated when the AI is not moving as fast as we want. It's just, you can never win with human beings. This is just a lesson that we need to learn here. It's like, human beings, we will never, ever be happy. So, okay, let's see what we got. So now let me create comprehensive database JSON. Yes. Okay, keep going. So, yeah, while we wait, I'm gonna eat my yogurt. By the way, yogurts are really good protein sources, so highly recommend them. Actually, in Finland, you probably got way better yogurt than we do up here. Matter of fact, every single thing in Europe is way better than North America. I will swear by that. This is already 2 weeks worth of work. I know, right? And yet I'm complaining that it's slow. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm telling you, man, we will never be happy, okay? Like, but you know what, though? While we're waiting on this to happen, one of the things that I find fascinating, though, is the mental shift that had to happen for this to become normal. And I find that I'm getting more easier and comfortable with things as well, too, because I'm doing it obviously more and more often. So the repetition really helps. But what I mean is, before I used to just copy and paste from ChatGPT. I'm sure everybody kind of starts with that, right? You kind of get ChatGPT to write you like a block of code, you copy and paste it into the code. And that worked for a bit until these AI tools kind of got embedded into the tools, the developer tools themselves. And that's been fantastic. But honestly, at the start, the biggest challenge for me has been, wow, the AI is like doing so much thing and it's generating so much code that I just couldn't keep up with it. And I find that I really was mentally struggling with that. So I found it interesting when there was people that were having like 3 or 4 agents kind of running in the background. And to be honest with you, I think there's a sweet spot, because if you have too many agents running in the background, then what end up happening is either one, you end up with merge conflicts and all this type of stuff, which is a big issue, or worse yet, you end up with code that you just don't need and you just kind of throw it away, right? And that's also a problem too. So that's been a challenge. So honestly, I've been trying to find a happy place where if I was program it, I would be focusing on one thing. So when I'm using the AI, I'm also trying to focus on one thing. I just wish it would just finish that thing faster, but I'm trying to stay focused on one thing at a time. Now, if I'm doing like for this call, I might do a couple, 2 or 3 things kind of in the background because they're kind of relevant, but not going to overlap. So I'll do that. But I find like 3 is like the highest, maybe 4 I would go, but any single thing beyond that on a project, I find that my brain just can't keep up with it. And that's okay, because I want to know what the AI is doing. I want to keep track of the task and the implementation. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. Okay, so we got some code here. Let's see what we got. So got some bash. Now we just got to figure out whether this thing is going to work or not. So you know what? Let's just check it in. I'm not even checking it locally. We'll run it in the cloud and let it go. So, by the way, by far the best button ever on Visual Studio, because this thing checks in code and I don't even know the comments anymore because I don't read them. I just like, yeah, just that sounds good. Just commit, and hope that the commit is of decent quality. So yeah, so we got that, and let's just see if the Cloudflare is deploying. So let's go to workers. Come on. Storage, worker pages, family planner, and deployments. When was the last deployed? A few seconds ago. Yep, that's fine. View build. Perfect. Yeah, everything's working. So let's go there and refresh. Perfect. Log in. Okay, now I'm assuming that this is actually coming from actual data. I don't know if it is, but I just want to make sure that the last batch of code that I just wrote is actually working properly. And then, okay, so now it's basically connecting React components. I'm going to have to spend some time learning React properly, honestly. React is not my favorite thing. Not my favorite thing. Let's just say that. But it is what it is. So, okay. Yeah, and I hate the fact that it just renames these old new screens, etc. Like, don't do this. I have to tell it specific instructions not to do this, right? Like, just delete if you got a problem. So do not leave the old screens behind. Like if you have to recreate a screen, just delete the old screen 100% all the time, every time. Put this in your GitHub Copilot instructions file. Yeah, like we gotta be, it's still doing some stuff. We have to be okay with the idea of just deleting, right? Like there's no reason, see here, it's just doing _old_, then it's just cloudy up the project. It's just adding a whole bunch of complexity with a whole bunch of files that we don't need. Just delete it. That's the whole purpose that we have Git version management system. Okay. Hopefully I don't have any yogurt. Okay, there we go. In my mouth. All right. Where are we? What else we got here? Come on, AI. You're slowing down the party. Made such good progress, and now we're like churning away on the weeds. Yeah, see? Let's keep doing all these screens. So I definitely want to make sure that that it doesn't do that anymore. So we'll tell the Copilot instructions to not do that. So I'm not a big fan of TSX JSS, but the agents are more efficient with it, I guess. Yeah, I'm the same, man. I was like, the TSX thing just drive me nuts. Just it's like it was good when it came out because it solved the problem, but there's no need for it in today's world. I'm like, Knox has figured this out, but we have such. This is the problem with when you have like I wouldn't even say standard, but the truth is at this particular point, React is probably a standard. Like it's almost I hate to say that, but it's the truth, right? There's so many different and better implementation of it, whether it's Svelte or Solid JS by Ryan, which is a fantastic. By the way, if you guys don't know who Ryan is, like if you really want to go deep, like if you're in the developer world, oh my goodness, like this guy Ryan. Um, yeah, this guy. Oh man, I watch his live sometimes when I can. I thought my lives were long. Oh my goodness, when he does a live, it's like 5 hours, 6 hours. I'm like, damn, bro, I can't do that. And he's talking about one topic and say it like just really really deep time. But I like he's just so good. But Solid JS is the fastest framework, just so you guys know. But it's so new that nobody really uses it. It's as close as you can get um, to like native JavaScript, and it's based on React components and stuff like that. Like it's very very it's familiar, but it's just more modern React, like significantly more modern, right? But yeah, really good framework, really good, solid, doing a lot. Like it's literally solid because it yeah. But I haven't really dived into it because I realized that there is diminishing returns at some point. What's happened is the ecosystem has standardized on React. There's more components, there's more people working on it, there's more libraries, there's more every single thing. And at some point, you just have to kind of just run with it, right? It's no different than how Python is not the fastest framework out there, code platform, but it works. It's pretty solid, pretty good, and there's tons of libraries, so everybody jumps on it. And so, at some point, from a business standpoint, you have to make that decision. But yeah, Nux is my jam. But Nux is where I'm at. I'm just like, give me pure HTML, separate my HTML from my JavaScript all day long. But yeah. Um, Also, there's a big lobby on the React side. Yes. Yeah, this is true. Vercel, for example, and yeah, or and the elephant in the room, Facebook. Yeah, so they'll always win. That being said, though, I'm interested. So the reason why, like I said, I love Nux purely because it's like I can see my HTML 100% independent of my thing, and this separation of concern is just how my brain works, and so I drive with it well. Um, but Evan Yu, who is my other favorite JavaScript developer by far, by the way, EV, and he's the guy that Evan YOU. He's the guy that did Nux. Has a new company called Void Zero, and it's supposed to kind of change up the game for how front end is going to be built. So I'm very very curious to see what he does with this front end, because he's the one that created Vite, which is what all of the new layer front end like it's replacing Webpack. If you're into that stuff, and then Vitesse, right? And he's doing roll down now, and they're doing thing, and this is all based on Rust, so it's supposed to be super super fast. That being said, though, Bun is also creeping into this space, so there's some competition going on here. But it's refreshing because finally, for once, we're getting like a proper ecosystem that's going from like start all the way to finish. So I'm very very curious to see what happens in this space. Interestingly, though, Vercel is the only one, because apparently I watched a blog talk with Evan Yu, and he said that he tried to get Vercel guys to jump onto Vite. However, he said that there was a lot of complexities there that they couldn't necessarily just come off of. So Vercel is still using like TurboPack, if I remember correctly. Yeah, TurboPack. Yeah. Yeah, they're still using this as their kind of bundler build system, and they were talking about trying to offload it to the VT ecosystem, but they're not going to be able to do it because apparently they have too much custom code. So, to be honest with you, what's happening is Next.js is almost holding up the ecosystem. This is a bold statement by me, but like they've done fantastic job in the early days, but now the ecosystem, Vite and some things have probably progressed a little bit further, and now yeah, there's going to be some legacy stuff that's going to end up happening here. But anyway, we'll see. I digress. I'm not getting into all the code in the world, just random stuff while we're waiting on code to write here. So yeah, let's see what's going on. Okay, so let me just tell it to just fix these old things. Yeah, see here's old. It's so annoying. So I'll just tell it to make sure I delete all of that stuff and update the file correctly. Okay, so while we do that, let's see what it did for the data folder. Okay, so we got the activities, we got the families, we got the people. Perfect. Great, because we're going to use that to build out our other. Great. All right. So what am I going to do? After this finishes, yeah, that's done. Right. I'm going to close this. Quit Visual Studio. I'm going to take this family planner. I'm going to move it into this repo here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this backend. And I'm going to call this frontend. Right? And then I'll open this guy. New terminal folder. pl run dev. No, sorry. No, oh my goodness. CODE period. Right. So what do I want to do? I want to build can you help me build a Hono, H-O-N-O backend based on the front end? Read through the docs on the front end folder, get all the requirements, get the GitHub Copilot instructions, and then create a Hono Web API backend to access the database and serve that data to the front end for my application. All right. So Hono backend based on the front end, React through the docs, blah, blah, blah. And so basically using the front end to kind of hoist my backend in place. And this should give me a little bit of gains, and hopefully we could get this done pretty fast. 3:30. Try to close off. Got half an hour. We should be able to get this up and running. But yes, 2 weeks worth of work, 3 hours, and we're still complaining. So progress though. And yeah, hey man, like listen, our numbers are staying around 4 or 5, and I'm okay with that. On a Friday afternoon, I know it's hard. Everybody's tired and got a lot of stuff to do and whatever. So I even appreciate you guys just sticking around, hanging in there, and kind of watching a build live while we kind of head into the Christmas holidays. And if I haven't said it enough times, I'm going to say it again while we wait for code here. Shameless plug on my school community. Like I said at the start, we're up to 50 members inside. Slowly growing. Slowly getting some activity. Like I said, I got a couple more videos, a few more videos I'm going to be posting inside of here. I plan to finish up this Cloudflare course. After from here, all of these courses, by the way, from here all the way to here are sort of entry level, very basic, very primitive. Most people kind of know this stuff, at least that's in the school community, unless you're non-technical. If you're non-technical, this stuff really matters. But what I really wanted to do was make sure that I have a solid non-technical foundation before going into all of the deeper stuff, so that the non-technical people can also keep up with the technical people. That was my goal. And so I spent a little bit more time kind of refining and working through that. And so that's been my mission there. And then now that I kind of had that foundation in place, we're going to be building D1. We're going to be going into database, which is what we're doing here, but I'm going to work on database, durable objects, durable functions, and then there's a bunch of AI stuff coming. So I got a whole, let me show you very quickly while I wait for all that stuff to go. So if I go back to here, just to give you an idea of what I'm planning. So I have, so here. So module 1, so yeah, so we got 3 different tracks. I got a non-technical track, I got an entrepreneur track, and then I got a technical developer track. Right now we're doing the Cloudflare 101, right? And then we're going to be doing the, there's a Cloudflare architecture coming in, which is to build like real scalable architecture in Cloudflare. That's coming into play. And then I have, security is a big one because everybody's been asking about security, and I got to spend some time kind of working through that kind of stuff. But the other one I'm really excited about is this Cloudflare AI, which is like purely on the AI side of Cloudflare, which is, they've just got so many things that they're bringing out on that space. And honestly, I haven't been keeping up with it as much because I've been trying to just get the foundations going first. But yeah, and from a roadmap standpoint, in terms of like, there's the entrepreneur track. I really want to double click on the idea and the clarification of your ideas, validating your ideas. I'm going to do a whole bunch of modules specifically for that. So I got lots of stuff kind of planned. I'm just sort of working through the details very slowly, but we're getting there. We're getting there. In the meantime, though, you guys got questions, message me in the community. This is really good. So, boo, boo, boo. Okay, so where are we? Come on, making any progress here? Okay, so we got a bunch of backend files being built. So we got families, API, or families. We got reunions. We got tenants, so that we could do multiple signups. Yeah, this should be interesting. We got users related to tenants. Users are puts, users are thing. So, okay, so it's building out all of the API stuff on Hano, which is great. Families.ts, TS. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of just separating front end from back end. In the event I decide to change my front end, I don't have to worry about server components and all this kind of craziness kind of merging together. It's cool that they have server components and thing, but there's some downsides to it. In fact, let me ask ChatGPT because I actually don't know. Can you give me some of the pros and cons of using React server components? So let's see. Smaller JavaScript sent to the browser server never gets shipped. Server component never gets shipped to the client side. Why it matters: less JavaScript, faster hydration, lower hydration costs, better performance on low-end devices. This one is the biggest real wins. Direct access to backend. You can fetch data directly from database, internal APIs, file system, all that kind of stuff without creating, right? Serialization, large payloads, etc. So there's definitely some wins: faster initialization, better security by default, token secret, and all that kind of stuff stays on the backend. Great. Cleaner separation of concerns. To be honest with you, I find that this one here, the better security by default. I personally find that if I'm doing like a server component, my brain starts to get muddy as to where this key is sitting. Is this key sitting on my front end or my back end? So anyway, this is an interesting topic that they put it here. Sorry, I'll just read it myself. So great session, super useful topic, and perfect timing. I can immediately apply lots of these ideas to 2 projects I'm working on. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for that. Thanks for the value you're portraying. Hey, man, always. That's what I'm here for, value. And I'm appreciating the fact that you're getting some value from it. So that means a lot to me. So yes, we're doing the right thing. That's good to know. Cleaner separation of concern, server, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's do the cons now. See? Con. Mental model is harder. And this is the one where I tend to really struggle a bit. because you're constantly, is this the server? Is this the backend? Is this right? Like you're constantly sort of in between those two. You now must right render on the client versus server boundaries. You got to have these two different boundaries in place. Serialization limits, right? Async rendering rules. So it's not intuitive at first, even for experienced React developers. And that's the problem that I find. Limited interactivity. So server components can't use hooks. So use state, use effects. Yeah. So for me personally, debugging can be painful because now errors that only happen on the server, mismatch between server and client, like this is the area where I'm like, you know what, simplicity matters. And for me, like even though I know a lot of people in the React world would probably swear by a lot of these things, for me, I'm like, you know what, we're adding too much complexity now to our applications by trying to render on the server and shove into the front end and back end. Like there's a lot of complexity there. As an old school developer, I like to, yeah. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're just old school and maybe we just don't, like we just never evolved to this new rendering world. But like, actually, I'm curious now. Let's see for adoption. Like, is there any numbers with regards to like server component adoption versus like separating the different UI elements? Yeah, because I think it's a problem. Like I mean, it is a subjective opinion here because I don't have a lot of experience deep in React. It's just not my go-to choice as a framework. I'll work with it, I'll tolerate it, but it's not my thing. Not ideal for highly interactive application, real-time heavy, Canvas, WebGL, etc. Data flow can feel magical. Yeah. Any single time where I start to get into this world where I feel like there's magic happening, I tend to start backing off a little bit, tightly coupling frameworks. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's just thought I'd share that while we kind of wait for some code. But there's some data, but it's mostly proxy data, not a clean app. So survey shows that most React teams still build traditional patterns. Yes. State of 2024 application pattern, but a single page application SSR patterns and match hydration thing, but shows a much selective UI. Selectively interactive UI is growing, but it's still not the default in terms of things separated patterns. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said. It's cool technology, but it's like, you know what, you got some problems here. So anyway, right, so we're almost there. So we got our Hono framework and it's just being built out slowly based on the backend. All right, so we're just building out Hono framework, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put some tests in here, some basic tests, HTTP tests, so we can think. In fact, while this is happening, let's see if we can push it a little bit. Let's create a new backend thing and say, for the backend, can you help me to build out some HTTP tests based on the different API? So just create a test folder, and for each one of the different routes, create an HTTP test. So I can basically run it and test the application, both on local and on development or production. Development/production. Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and basically what we're gonna do is even though the backend is still kind of going, even though this one is still going, actually it's almost finishing up because it's just doing the deployment and stuff like that. But what I want to do is I basically want to get some HTTP tests so I can kind of run it locally and actually see data come in and be able to push dummy data into the application, just test the backend piece properly. All right, and then at a later date we'll actually put like real tests into it. But cool, making progress. Okay, 20 minutes, guys, 20 minutes. I gotta actually come off on time today because it's tomorrow is Saturday and I'm gonna be out. We're doing Santa thing all day tomorrow, and I got a ton of little house stuff that I gotta do. So I was like, okay, I got like a limited amount of time. I was thinking if not a lot of people show up today, I was gonna do up to 3 o'clock and then thing. But I appreciate the fact that you guys jumped on and are actually engaging and communicating with me. That actually really helps, by the way. Like it really, really helps. I appreciate just a simple little, small communication because There's nothing like talking into a glass, okay? I'm just telling you this, really. Like, people make it look easy, but the fact that you're just standing there and just talking into pure glass and, behind the scenes it's going out magically to the whole world, and, the whole world, there's like four people on this call, but, in my world, it's the whole world, right? But it's just cool. It's just, there's something about that, but your brain has to like adjust to this idea that I'm going to talk into this glass and there's somebody in the world that is listening to me on the other end. It's just a weird thing altogether. I'll probably never ever get used to it. So yeah, um, I've been working on React for. I've been working with React for some time now. The problem you're presenting right now matters. If you are using a framework like Next for both the backend and yeah, there we go. Yes, but in your case, you're already using Hono for backend, so you're ready. So you really do not need to use the React Server component because a lot of the yes, that's right. Yeah, a lot of the server value is handled by Hono, example in middleware, etc. Yeah, this is true. This is 100% true, right? I feel like the server component thing came in because people were coming mostly from the front end and they were trying to give them a way to kind of do the back end stuff a little bit more efficiently without breaking their mental model. I think that's like maybe where it's coming. I'm just throwing stuff in the air, but I think you're 100% right about that, Simon. Um, no, it matters like yeah, both backend and fast. Yes, this is 100% right. Okay, so we got two things done now: families, tenant. Okay, so let's see how to use. So we're gonna run a REST, HTTP. So we got a bunch of where are HTTP? Okay, so we got a middleware here. Where's our HTTP file? Test files here. Families. So we're gonna run, and I'd like to do this kind of manually, just to be like a fact check, and then kind of go from there. So let's do this. So let's okay, can you run my Hono project so I can test the HTTP? Right, because my Hono, Hono. Test it this year, each year. So anyway, it knows what I'm saying. Okay, so we're gonna run it and let's see if it actually. Can I create a user? Okay, let's see what happens. So we're gonna run it locally, and okay, so you gotta. It didn't do npm install, which is annoying, but that's besides the point. So okay, so while that's happening, okay, let it run for a second here. I might do a commit. Oh, you know what you know what okay, I have to. This is the only downside because I swapped the repo and I didn't swap the repo on the cloud side. Just to keep in mind, Cloudflare does have a way to manage multiple projects. In fact, I might end up doing that. I won't do it in this one because I'll have to change sort of the structure. But just for you guys to know, Cloudflare, where is it? Where's my Cloudflare? Here. You can specify, so I can actually create like this. Right now, I'm pointing to this family project, which is a single repo. However, I just changed the repo structure to be a mono repo. So Cloudflare does have support for mono repo. You can have up to 5 projects automatically deployed to Cloudflare. So in other words, it'll deploy your front end, it'll deploy your back end independently when the code gets checked in. So you can actually do that with the worker, just as a heads up. But because I kind of did it that way, I'm going to just for the sake of this conversation, I'll just connect directly to the front end and just push it to that front end, and then I'll do the back end separately. But another video, I'll actually set up a mono repo with Cloudflare. The reason why I personally don't depend on Cloudflare to handle the mono repo deployment is because I have like literally dozens of projects in one solution, and Cloudflare only handles like a maximum of 5. So I don't benefit from it. So I use GitHub deployment to push the Cloudflare, which is a little bit more advanced, but just a heads up on that. So allow. So open browser. Yeah, okay. Family, health, yeah. Okay, let me check if the actual is running. So it's good. It is running. All right, so now we could go to this, send requests, family one, click on Git, and there we go. No such table in family one. Okay, so let's see, families. Close this here and then open. Let's just go again. Okay, so D1 error. So no such SQLite error. So here I'm getting this locally. So let's do API families tenant one. Yeah. So I'm getting this error locally. Can you make the D1 the Wrangler database run against Cloudflare remote, not local? So you got to tell it to run against Cloudflare remote because Wrangler has a new implementation where you could specify, like by default, it tries to run locally, but I don't have a database locally. So I always just have it use the Cloudflare remote database. That's why it's going to put this flag, you see here. Where is it? Right here. See the remote flag there, right here. -- remote. So first I'll stop the current server and restart it with -- flag. This way it tells it, can you use my remote database so that you know that it's going to work correctly. Else it gets confused and it runs it locally. So just keep that in mind. So let me send it now and see what happens. So allow. All right, so testing. Okay, database needs a ID, right? Configuration, right? So the database ID is empty, so that's fine. So now we just got to go copy that ID from our local database. So let me just tell it about the ID because it doesn't know, it doesn't need, just so you know where the ID is. So in case for the people that are new to this, you got to go down to database storage. You got to go to D1 SQL. And your database ID, when you click into it, it's actually that UUID right there. This one that's kind of hidden. So you click in this one right here, and I can just click and copy that, and that's my ID. So we're gonna use that. The database needs to be created. Okay, so here, found it. Okay, actually it did it already. It found it. Great. So yeah, you just gotta specify that whole database thingy. So yes, proceed with this. It takes some time during. Allow. Schema, great. So it's trying to put the schema, but the schema already exists. The schema already is there, migrated. Now let me start the server and run the remote. Yes, perfect. So it's figuring out everything. Great. Close. All right. So it looks like Wrangler update created. Fantastic. Allow B. Okay, so we got, by the way, what's doing is just doing, it's just opening up the browser and just doing this. Come on. Yeah, so that's showing me that it's doing something. So now what we're gonna do is allow, come on. Looks like Wrangler upgraded to version 4 and ready for a thing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's go here now. Okay, server is running. So now if I do send, oh, I don't want, okay, there we go. So foreign key constraint. Yes, okay, fantastic. Yes, so that's good. So we just need a get. That's what I was trying to do. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. So no data. So that's coming back. At least it's telling me that I'm connected to my API. I'm just getting no data. So can you, let me just tell it. I don't have any data in my database because can you seed some data so that we can actually test the HTTP response endpoints? Right. Fantastic. Progress. So as long as our API on our backend is working, we're going to push the API, we're going to push the backend up to Cloudflare, and then we're going to test it on Cloudflare to make sure that's work, and then basically we'll try to see if we could get the front end to at least connect. If not, that's totally cool, because then at least we got our back end, we got our front end, and then we could just, it's just simpler for us to just create a sort of a component on the React side that's going to basically connect to the API in the back end. So that'll be good progress in either case, and then we'll kind of close things off from there. But I'm happy with this progress. I think it's good. So your remote D1 now set, include, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so got some data. So let's go see, explore data, families. Okay, yeah, so we got some families inside of there. Fantastic. Okay, so now if I come back here and I do HTTP tests, where's my family? Yeah, okay, sure. Families, this one here. No, I don't want to post, sorry. I want to do a get families. Connection rejected. Oh, am I not running? Sorry, not running. npm. Oh, geez. Should I use bun or should I use bun npm run dev? Fine. Let's just do that and then click on send. Oh, I got to do the remote. Sorry. You know what? Can you run it locally, but make sure that you're using the D1 database in the cloud? So I don't, because it's Wrangler run dev remote, or npm run dev : remote. That's what it is. With the remote database connection. Okay, so let's see. Come on. Checking if package was installed, script exists. Wrangler, so it's Wrangler run dev. It's Wrangler npx Wrangler dev -- remote. That's the key. But I keep forgetting it, so that's why we use AI. Click on send. Okay, so we got pagination, so that's great. Send for family. Family not found. So let's see what's a family name here. So family, no, I want to list all the families, but I just don't want to see by ID families. Where is this family area? Oh no, this posts. This is get all families, and yeah, you know what? We're just gonna get rid of this. This should be able to get me all the families. Come on. Get families by ID. Oh, okay. Got you. So I got no data inside of here. So I need to I don't have a test that basically lists all the families. Yeah, we want to be able to just list these families here. Even though, I mean, I could do this, family ID, sure. Wasn't that what I had before here? Yeah, okay, they have 001 and then they're putting 0. That's the problem. So it's supposed to be 001. That's what it is. Send. It's right here. Family -001. Okay. Send. Say not found. List all families. Test at line 12. This one. Okay. Yeah, it's returning 0 data. So line 12, list all families with pagination. But it's not empty because we actually do have contents here, so there's something wrong. And I honestly think this is what's happening. It's doing the remote local thing again. I think that's what happened is the Wrangler server is running, but the database queries are getting in interrupted. Let me run a simpler check. Terminate. Okay. Perfect. The data is remote database. Terminate. ID. Okay, tenant 00. Yeah, that's what the problem. So it's just it's supposed to be 00. That's what it is. It's running against this tenant here. And they put 001 versus 01. That's the problem. So let's close this again. Press on that. Of course, disconnected the database. Come on. Now I'll update all the tests. Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Okay, can you run it again now? No. So I just want to... So I want to run np... Oh my goodness. Let's just do it. Wrangler. For once, we're going to write some command. WRANG Wrangler. Oh, WRANG. WR Wrangler dev -- remote. REMOT. There we go. For once, we'll run some code on our own. Okay, so click on that. Click on this guy here. It's all families. Connection was regretted. Why? What do I miss? Can you run this locally and make sure that it's connected to the geez. Can you run this locally and make sure it's connected to the remote database? And no, I think I killed my session accidentally. Okay, there we go. Come on. Let's move. Okay, so there we go. So npm run dev : remote. Allow. All right. Now if I click on this, should be fine. Fantastic. There we go. Right. So we got data. So I got to do two things. One is I want to deploy my backend. I want to make sure that my backend is working. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Instead of actually going through the GitHub stuff, I'm just going to tell it to just deploy a backend and call it Family Planner Backend, just for the sake of this. So can you deploy my backend and name it Family Planner Backend? Can you deploy my backend and name it Family Planner - Backend so I could test the Wrangler API running locally? The running on Cloudflare. Right. So instead of me going through GitHub and pushing over or whatever, I'm just going to basically just push straight to GitHub just so at least I could get this going. And it's 4 o'clock, so I'm just going to try to close things off pretty much with a wrap up.
Here's your reminder.
But
start workout.
Yeah, start workout. Yes, not going to happen
Dwayne,
today, buddy.
Here is your reminder.
Computer, stop. Not going to happen today. Okay, almost there. We got a little bit more pieces to do, but all in all, this was at least a good run because we got quite a few pieces moving parts here. So let's see. So if I copy this, again, no security here, but we can put some security on it. And I'll paste this here to replace this. Matter of fact, let me just comment this out and then just do at base URL. And then we're going to basically just paste that in there. And then we close this. And then we go to send this all. Connection was rejected. Okay, so let's see if it's actually running. We got to make sure that URL is running because it might not be live as yet. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So let's base URL. Oops, I misspelled it. Sorry, my bad. There we go. Send. Perfect. Right. So that Wrangler is now running in the cloud. Just to make sure that I got nothing up my sleeve, let's go find it in Cloudflare. So if we go out here and we go to Wrangler here, to workers, and we go Cloudflare backend, there we go. right? And it's showing that it's connected to our database, and we got a bindings, and that's the live URL right there. So all we're gonna do now, by the way, I should mention this, just super quick security for your APIs, just quick, like quick and dirty. Click in settings, click on this, where it says Cloudflare access, just check that box. And that's going to just block it instantly. So you don't have to deal with all the crazy, people hammering your servers and all this kind of stuff. So just check that box off, and then that's good to go. And then it'll give you some basic authentication stuff. You could configure it from there for Auth0 and stuff. So just as a heads up for anybody, because I want to make sure that at least we're thinking about security all the time, every time. But for this conversation, I'm just going to roll forward a little bit. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to try to see if I can get this thing, my back end, to connect with my front end. So let's see if we could get it done, and then we're just going to close off regardless. So we're going to say, hey, I implemented a new back end. It's pointing at this URL, space, this URL. Oops, of course, don't have the URL anymore. So it's pointing at this URL. This URL. Can you review the backend implementation and then update the app so that they could list the families from the API? And then we're going to do the other updates. But just for now, just focus on listing the families on the homepage or wherever the families are listed. Right. So we're going to see if we could actually just get it just running with the families there, because I don't even remember where the families thing is. So let's see. So it should be close this, close this, close this, close this. So where's the families? Is it on homepage? No, that's the events. So here, this is family directory. So we should be able to see actual family directory here based on what's coming from the database. So what are we looking for? Let's see if we could find something that we should be looking for. So we want to look for media, database, almost there. Explore, families, and the name of the families are College, Smith, and Johnson. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace this aunt, uncle, and thing with College, Smith, and Johnson. So let's see if we can get that going, and that would be a good place to close off. We'll run it locally. See what happens. Caller API service. I'll review the Blackman implementation, update the app list families with my check-in the API. Right, so now we got our API service here. With our endpoint, it's going to call or fetch respond. So that's fantastic. Get members by ID, the whole 9 yards, get people. Yeah. So all that's coming in. Perfect. So now I'm able to update the dashboard screen to show the families. Dashboard is mainly showing reunion. Let me check if there any actual thing. Okay, so we probably might get a CORS error, but that's probably the only single thing that we should get. Look at the directory screen, main place. And while that's doing, we're going to go to front end. I just want to go to the terminal so I could just push that up directly in a minute. All right, almost there. Now let me add some sections with family members. Added family section after the search before the event. Come on. This would be a good place to close things off. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Almost there. Dashboard screen. Perfect. Let me update the to-do list. All right, fine. I did tell you to do that. So in theory, this should be working now because we should be able to see some families. We're going to run it in a second. We'll see what happens. npm run. Did you make any mistakes? Of course you did. Okay, directory screen, we got a small mistake inside of there. So there's a syntax error, directory screen. Let's fix that. Thank you. See the issue. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Almost there. Almost there. Ready for the grand finale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at that. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Ba, ba, ba. Localhost. Login. Maybe I'm not seeing no families found. Oh, might be cores. Let's see. Is it cores? Tell me it's cores. Please tell me it's cores. Hang on. Might be cores. Network. Don't see any network calls. Come on. Don't see any. Oh, right. This is login here. Oh, sorry. I got to put this on another screen because it's messing up the UI layout. Okay. Might be cores. I think it's cores issues. Let's see. Almost there. Login. Okay, so it did make an API call. So there, did make an API call. That's fantastic. So that's good. Response. Oh, no data. What? Payload headers. Where are you calling from? What the hell? What? Really? Where are you? Okay, let's just. Okay, just stupid. Hang on a second. So let's just do this. So. Okay, come on. Or you know what? I'm going to just open up a new window. Yes. So we'll just say the application is running. It made a call to this API, but I'm not seeing any data. So that API has what? Let me just see. Why is that API? Backend families, page 1, page size 10. Yeah, that should give me something, I think. What is the test? See, this is why you do the test, because the test is important, and you could at least kind of compare what we got on the test to what the API is calling. So let's click on this again. Okay, so you're done. What are you saying? So the API is working correctly, but it's returning empty array. Yes, I know that. There's no data in the database. But I had data here before, so why isn't there any data? Families, come on, where are you? Families, 1, page size 20. That's the only difference. So the only difference that we have was we made an API call, we made one was, so page size 10, but that shouldn't be a difference. We should be able to see data. So, and when we made this call, there was data. So what's the difference? Let's see. See here? We got data. So there's something wrong on the front end. It's not a back end thing. It might be a course thing, but there's no errors in the API front. So let's see. So click on allow. So the problem, the API is working correctly, but your database is empty. 0 families found. You need to run a migration. Now we already have data inside of here. I don't want to do that. Okay, let me just let it go. It'll figure it out on itself. The problem, the solution, run the schema here. Good, the schema already exists. Yes, we'll take. Now let's see the data. You already have data in there, buddy. Yeah. I'm gonna tell it no. That's not a problem. There's already data in the database. If you look at the backend, we're able to get a successful HTTP call by calling the tests from the family. So there's something else that's wrong. Okay. It's literally surprise. I'm kind of surprised with a mismatch. Okay, so you're right. Of course I'm right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Found the issue. Clear. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, there we go. Tenant ID header. That's what was missing. Fantastic. All right. So let's see. Still empty with the tenant header. Let me check the Cape Families route to see how to query the database. So data, I found the issue. Data exists, but with the tenant mismatch. Okay, got it. 001 versus 0 underscore. Okay, that's the issue. Got it. Perfect. Okay, so we know what the problem was. We were setting the wrong tenant ID. Tenant ID was the issue. So come here. Go back to this. Refresh. Oops. Can you run the application locally? Okay, so while that's being run, I'm going to just basically push this up. Git add, git commit -am, and then we're going to say initial testing API. Push. Okay. Refresh. You running now? Allow. Yes. Come on. Yeah, this is why I use bun, because npm is just like dramatically slow. It's also the AI, but yeah. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Almost there. Application is running. Refresh. Login. Login. Bam! Data, baby. Data. All right. Double check our API. Payload. Response. Look at that. We got families loaded. There we go. I'm happy with that. That's progress. So yeah, we got the families launching there, and then obviously we got to connect all the other pieces. But that is a great place to stop. I think that was a fantastic run, considering the fact that we have all the pieces. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your vote of confidence. And yeah, we got all the pieces in place now. So now from there, we just got to iterate on the front end to just hook up all the back end, right? Because we already got all the back end pieces already in place. We got memories, we got media, we got payments, we got the whole 9 yards, we got relationship, we got tenants. So from there, we just got to just slowly just tell the front end one by one, connect to the back end. And again, I want to stress this just to make sure that we're on the same page here. That's the reason why I have my back end and my front end kind of sitting in the same project, so I could kind of work with them side by side. And I was able to use the front end, the front end code to hoist the back end, and then come back to the front end and get it to basically connect back to back end, right? So yeah, no, I'm happy for that progress. And listen, thank you guys again. This has always been a pleasure to have you guys on the call, just hanging out with me and just chilling and just like doing whatever you're doing on your side, which I have no idea what the hell you guys are doing. But the fact that you guys are able to just kind of jump on this call with me and just kind of hang out and do stuff, that means a lot. So yes. So with that, oh, hang on. We're gonna be so next week is so next week I'm around, but let me just see the schedule just to make sure that just so we kind of top of it. So next week is Christmas, isn't it? When is Christmas? Christmas is the 26th. Oh, okay, that might be tricky because I do have some stuff on the 26th. So it's up in the air on whether I do a live stream next week. It just depends on thing. The truth is, I might not end up doing a live stream next week just because I know there's a bunch of family commitments on that specific day. So yeah, real thing. But anyway, there's going to be a bunch of content put out on the YouTube and in the school community. But that being said, it's a blast. It's always a blast, and it's a pleasure just hanging out with you guys and just chilling and just vibe coding together. So with that, you guys have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in another video. Okay, bye. By the way, I'm going to put this code on GitHub so you guys could play around with it and look at it and do some stuff, or use it for your own family events. All right. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thank you. All right then. Bye-bye.